Imagine a hero shooter where the hero never showed. Imagine a game with a player base that just refused to grow. A 5v5 hero shooter with gameplay that's just okay, and characters that remind me of Tupperware and white bread. No, I'm not talking about Overwatch.
I'm vibing!
Please stop bringing up Overwatch.
That's most definitely what's up.
This game is not Overwatch. It's actually something else.
Shout out to the chess club.
Imagine a game with a story that no one watches. A game that costs $40 that Sony totally botches. It has all my favorite characters, like Lemmy, Dawn, and Craig. At least, I think that's what their names are. I never bothered to check. Concord like the grave, your legacy is safe as a game that no one played, and a price that no one paid. Boop-a-doop-ba, beep-a-doop-da, scoop-a-boop-ba, beep-beep-beep-beep-beep, phlegm. Concord was about as good as accidentally peeing on your own leg. Concord, we're here to lay you to rest. We know you tried your best. You copied so much cool stuff just to turn out lame in the end. I'll never forget my favorite moments, like when Hot Sauce Guy jumped. Remember when he jumped? That was really cool. A rat just ran by on my desk, and even the rat didn't want to play Concord, even though I blessed him with the chance. The $40 he could afford, but the rat just stared on in a trance. Rat, 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 rat. Concord's dead. Rat, 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 rat. Concord's dead. The Costco guys made more money than you. They were just on Jimmy Fallon too. Imagine Lennox being on Jimmy Fallon, because I literally can't. The rat on my desk is eating all my Cheerios and grapes, and also Concord is dead. Concord like the grave, your legacy is safe as a game that no one played, and a price that no one paid. Rat-a-ta-ta-beep-a-da, boop. Skim, milk, the rat fleet, doo-da, doo-da. A guy said he really liked it, and then a bunch of rats ate his face. That's the sound he made when Concord passed away. I wish things turned out different, but either way I'm getting paid. Concord's dead, Concord's dead, and boy is my face red. When the game came out, everybody overslept. Concord's dead, Concord's dead. Holy crap, Lois, Concord's dead. When the game out, people played everything else instead.
Oh, Tamriel, shooby-doo.
I'm
Fast
vibing!
travel through my heart. I booted up my PC back in 2006.
Shout out to the chess club.
Met a guy named Martin, man, his chin could break bricks.
We're aiming for a controversial 7 out of 10.
Dedrick gates were open and I saved Kvatch that night.
16 times.
But these days, Todd Howard can't script a game right. I miss the wacky guards yelling, "Stop, you violated the law." And mud crabs with tood like they're flexing their claw. I'd stroll through the shivering aisles, high on skooma and dreams. Now Starfield's got me mining space rocks and jeans. Back to the oblivion, baby, where the quests were weird and gravy. From Shiogarat's cheese to Lucian's ghost, it had more charm than Todd could ever post. Yes, Starfield's big, but it's dull and gray. I'd rather close an Oblivion gate today. Now listen here, Todd, you silver-tongued crooner. You sold me lies smoother than a Khajiit moon sugar dealer. You see that planet? You can go there. Yeah, I went, it sucked, it's just a rock and despair. I want my persuasion wheel, my glitchy horse on a roof. I want that beggar with 6 voices telling me the truth. Make the liar had more insight and flair than all your procedurally generated air. Back to the Oblivion, baby, where the gates were hot and the jokes weren't lazy. Yeah, Skyrim was fine and the mods were neat, but Oblivion's heart had a weirder beat. So Todd, my boy, if you're hearing this song, bring back the weird and don't take so long. Doo-wop, Daedric pop, Martin Septim never dropped, but Starfield made me stop playing. Oh, Todd, please stop.
Welcome, everybody. Welcome. Lily. Glad to have you. How you guys doing? How you guys doing? I have a paper towel here because I spilled a bunch of coffee right in front of me, right as we were about to start. Classic. That's how I do. That's how I be, you know? That's how I do be doing. How are you guys? First of all, shout out to, of course, Limits Breaker for gifting 5 memberships at the top of the stream before we even started. We also had Lady Questis become a member. Mr. Steel Kill gave another membership, and then Mr. Steel Kill super chatted 5, said, "Hey Luke, all of our moms are upset at you for how irregular your streaming schedule has been. Do better." I understand. I appreciate your desire to watch, and I've not loved how irregular our streams have been, but we should be hitting regularity finally again. And it should be regular until Summer Games Fest. And then Summer Games Fest will be kind of the opposite of the last week and a half, 2 weeks, because last week and a half, 2 weeks, it's been much more like miss a stream here, miss a stream there. For Summer Games Fest, I think it's like you're going to be drowning in content. So just buckle up. It's going to be a lot. Just get ready. It's going to be a lot. So it'll be the opposite problem, where you're going to be like, Luke, go on vacation again, please. We've had enough. Leave us alone. Having said all that, yeah, I'm excited to get back into our regular flow of things. And then Mr. Steel Yokill 54 also gifted 5 memberships. You guys are insane. Welcome everybody who became a member. Glad to have you guys. Super glad to have new members. Again, connect your YouTube accounts to the Discord, your Discord account, and you'll get an auto invite to our server and you can join us there. We have a really good time. It's always joyous. Hold on. OBS. I have to mirror my my screen now in order for it to show up. It's a little complicated, but we can work with it. Is it working now? It is working. Hooray. But over on the Discord, yeah, we've got some good memes. We've got some good memes. Some that are probably more problematic, but some of you did clip the bits. I'm sorry. Some of you guys did clip the bit of Jor playing that wheelchair game. Oh, God. Oh, what did we do to deserve such an amazing clip as this? Jor celebrating. Yay. Oh, God. It's so great. It's so great. Yeah, there's a lot of good ones in here. I don't even know. Eminem, apparently. Remember to touch grass. Don't stare at the screen all day. Also, oui, baguette. Unchecked grief is destructive and clinging to fantasies will only lead to self-destruction. Yeah. I still can't with this one. This one's, guess I'm gonna be a dad. I can't with that. It's so good. Oh, oh God, I'm gonna die. That video of Jor, I can't with it. Every time I see it, I just lose it, man. Oh my gosh. Anyway, yeah, join the Discord. I also, we have some good discussions too, where like I asked you guys, Nikki has never seen, my wife Nikki has never watched a Star Wars movie. And we went to Disney World and like she thought the Rise of the Resistance ride was cool, and she was asking about like the lore and the world and how all of it works, and I was like, oh, so maybe we try getting into Star Wars. So I asked you guys like, how would you recommend starting? And some of you guys actually did have some recommendations. So we did a whole thread where you guys gave some very, very thoughtful answers to where to start in Star Wars, which I appreciate. So get over there if you haven't already. It's a really good time. It's a really good time. Having said that, yeah, Andor is the new consensus, and she expressed interest in Andor. So I think we're going to start with Andor. And then my understanding is you guys are saying Andor, Rogue One, episode 4, 5, 6, then probably 1, 2, 3, and then 7, 8, 9. Fair? Then it's all downhill. That's why you finish with the recent ones. You finish with those. Yeah, then skip 7, 8, 9. Mandalorian, where would we put Mandalorian in that? After 4, 5, 6? Probably. Or after 1, 2, 3. Mandalorian after 4, 5, 6, but don't watch season 3. Like, don't watch season 3, period, or don't watch it until after you've watched 1, 2, 3. Watch up to 7. Mando was good for 2 seasons. Oh, so season 3 just sucks. Okay. I'm tracking. I see what you're saying. I'm sniffing what you're stepping in. Sure am. Well, fam, we've got a lot to talk about today. There's a lot. Some insane stuff. I mean, really, some of this is just outrageous. But yeah, I could not have predicted just how much stuff was going to happen so suddenly, so quickly, in 15,000 different ways. So we'll talk about it. Because there's, my God, there's so much. I see. Yeah. Take one day off and it's all crazy. Mr. Steel Yo Kill, thank you for gifting another membership. Hell yeah, that's most definitely what's up. Chop Junk, thank you also for becoming a member. That's fantastic. Fumbles0630 gave $5 for super chat. Luke, I started my gaming YouTube and TikTok and hit 1K on my first day. Stoked. One day we'll game together. It's Fumbles0630. Sorry, excited. Don't be sorry. That's fantastic. Congratulations. That's wonderful. Keep on the grind. The big thing. Millions of people start their YouTube journey, and damn near the same number quit after a few months, or after 6 months, or after a little while, when they hit a plateau or a trough. You know, maybe they have some trouble tuning their content or whatever. If you're just the one that's persistent, if you just don't give up and you push through that, the odds of your success skyrocket, okay? Just don't be the quitter. If it were easy, everybody would do it. Everybody would be super successful. You just have to be persistent, you know? But you can do it. You can do it. Just keep pushing. I can confirm I quit after my first hater back in 2012. Dude, some of you guys have been here long enough to remember the old days, like 2017, 18, when I had, 1,000, 2,000 subs or whatever. There was one guy who would come in and comment on every single video. And it was always, You're such a beautiful young man. You're such a beautiful young man. What I wouldn't do to hold you, I would treat you right. Every video and every post he would make was unique and paragraphs long. Like, on the one hand, I appreciated that he was a fan, for lack of a better word. But it did feel kind of weird that somebody was like that attached, you know? I've thought about that, and I'm like, I wonder what happened to him. I wonder where he's at. If I don't know. Who knows? But yeah, that's what Todd feels. I mean, that's what millions of people feel for Todd. But I think, you know, what I experienced was nothing compared to some people. Like, you guys remember Cammie, who worked with and for me for a while. And she was a phenomenally talented writer. Like, super, super amazing writer. And she decided to try streaming on her personal accounts a little bit, which I was like, yeah, you absolutely should. You should give it a shot. But some of the stuff she had to deal with as like an up and coming female streamer were insane. She would tell me some of the stuff that people would come into her chat and say, and it was just unbelievable. One guy popped in, just gave one message and just said, "Not enough cleavage," and left. Like, I was like, you know what? I don't have it that bad. I can only imagine some of the crap they have to deal with, because my God. Sorry. Aiden Pierce Ashcroft, thank you for the 5. Hey, been listening to your 8-hour Starfield video at work, and I'm hooked on the game. Any news on future DLC besides Shattered Space? Cheers from Spain. Cheers from not Spain. I mean, as far as we know, there is an expansion this year. We don't know anything about it. I'm guessing they're going to announce it's coming as part of the release on PlayStation 5.
Caleb donated
my guess.
$10 through Super Chat.
Probably hear about it in
Dude,
June.
it's 2025. You better appreciate it or I'm getting you canceled on Blue Sky. Better tell him how grateful you are with your beautiful, lush, full, handsome lips.
I do. How dare you threaten to cancel me on Blue Sky? All 15 people over there will be furious. I don't actually know anything about Blue Sky. I know there's a certain type of person that goes over to Blue Sky. I mean, we all kind of know the type of person that goes over there. Like, it's fine. I'm glad that there's an app that you can go and have a good time on. But yeah, I know like nothing about Blue Sky. I know nothing about it. You remember when Threads was going to be the next big thing, the like Facebook Twitter competitor? And then I think that died. I think it's still technically out there, but like, who's using Threads? Like, who's using Threads? I have no idea. Oh. Have you seen the Idris and Star Citizen got released? Yeah, I did some digging into the Star Citizen stuff. It's just, it will never cease to amaze me how Star Citizen can have something that should be a highlight, and then they pair it with something so utterly stupid that the whole narrative is about how stupid and greedy they are. Like, they cannot just take a W, they have to shove 15 L's in with it. And I don't understand. I hope the blowback they're getting right now for selling all this extra stuff and for really pushing the boundary, I hope that is like a wake-up call to them, that if they push this hard to just make the money that they need to make up the gap right now, I hope they realize that that doesn't actually help them, because then there is no game at the end of it. Because I'm seeing even people who have played Star Citizen for years say, we're done. Like, I'm going to boycott until they fix this, which is significant. I mean, these are people who have spent thousands and thousands on this, and that's crazy. Like, that's wild. So I hope that there's a wake-up call, a bit of a wake-up call on it, but time will tell. They've done it before. That's why we were like, there's two ways you could look at it, look at all of this. On the one hand, you'd be like, oh, well, they've always been like this. There's nothing new. On the other side, you could say like, well, they've always been greedy, but this is an extra level of greed that makes it even worse. And either way, it's not great. Like, the fact that nobody's really surprised and it's so egregious is what's particularly wild, you know. Everybody's like, yep, Star Citizen, which is never a good thing when people are like, yeah, makes sense. They're crazy. Yep, checks out. Checks out. Let's see. Caden Zola, thank you for that. Thank you for making the video about Star Citizen. The community needs more attention. Yeah, well, it's the tough thing about making content about Star Citizen is just that the community is kind of in its own little bubble, basically. And so there's not a whole lot of crossover between the general gaming community and Star Citizen. There's just not a whole lot of crossover, which is why like the more core gaming community is always like Star Citizen's a scam because they haven't seen it, they haven't dug into it. And from the outside, it definitely looks like a scam, let's be honest. But there's not a whole lot of crossover. So when I do videos on Star Citizen, it's always really interesting to see the hardcore community that knows Star Citizen really well and the more casual community that doesn't know much about it, but has heard all of the insanity surrounding it. But that's the big like difficulty for them right now is that like they are going to have to find a way to appeal to the more casual crowd, and that's not going to be easy because Squadron 42 is the single player campaign, and that single player campaign they want to sell to like Far Cry fans, they want to sell that to Starfield fans, like they want to sell that to the average gamer to get a bunch more cash. But all the stuff they're doing on the Persistent Universe side, I think is such a turnoff to those players. It's not going to end well when they try to do that. Like, and I don't think they realize it, that you can't just be that insane and greedy and have no repercussions in the casual side of gaming. You know, it's just, I think they're being very short-sighted with it, and they're used to really pushing the monetization boundary, and now they're surprised that things aren't going so hot. But you know, it's going to catch up with them eventually. Their spending is out of control, it seems, which is why things are looking particularly problematic for them right now. Let's see. Gene, thank you for that. 3 months. Ooh, baby. Don't let your wife be ruined by Star Wars episodes 7, 8, and 9. Would also add Skeleton Crew, think Goonies / Flight of the Navigator, but in a Star Wars setting. Oh, interesting. That's kind of cool. Yeah, I mean, episode 7, 8, and 9, knowing that trilogy ends so stupidly, I don't really feel the impetus to like watch it or push it with her. Who knows? Maybe we'll watch Andor and she's gonna be like, I don't like it, and we won't go any further than that. But I hope that she likes it, and we can watch 7, 8, 9, or not 7, 8, 9, not that. We watch 4, 5, 6, then maybe 1, 2, 3. And we'll go from there. The big thing is like she got interested in it because of Rise of the Resistance, the ride at Disney World, which is a very good ride, to be fair. But now she's like, you know, if you want to know more about those characters and that side of the world, you do have to watch 7, 8, 9. But yeah, I'm glad that Andor seems really good. I haven't watched it, but people have said it's phenomenal. So we caught up on Severance, so we need something new to watch, you know? Let's see. I knew my lady was the one when she watched all 7 seasons of the Clone Wars for Rebels just for me. Yeah, that should be the moment where you're like, oh my God, I love you. That's the big moment. Colonius, thank you for the 2. Doom: The Dark Ages was not on my bingo for flop on Steam. Is it flopping on Steam? I don't actually know. I mean, with Game Pass games, Steam concurrent numbers don't really mean a whole lot, in my opinion, because it's like, I have plenty of expendable cash, but if I have Game Pass on PC, I'm going to play the game through Game Pass. Like, I'm not I'm not like addicted to just only buying things through Steam, but I mean, the player counts don't seem that bad. 30,000 is pretty good for a Game Pass title. I wouldn't say it's flopping. It wasn't as good as I was expecting it to be, frankly. Like, it felt very antiquated in its structure. Still fun, but it felt antiquated. Just like, again, it was a solid B, but I was hoping it was an A. Let's see. Wilfredo, thank you for the 5. How would Star Citizen development end? Would they just delist it and not sell it anymore, or just keep it offline with no more updates? The problem is with Star Citizen, as far as I understand it, you can't do that game offline. Squadron 42, you probably could, but the Persistent Universe stuff is built on crazy complex server infrastructures and setups. You can't just like take it offline. So for them, like, the problem is they've expanded to a global development studio. They've raised $800 million and they're actively losing money now. And their expenses are growing as they try to finish the game, Squadron 42, and as they try to get, you know, the Persistent Universe to like a full launch version. So their expenses are exponentially growing. You know what I have to do. You know what I have to do. Their expenses are exponentially growing. So we'll do expenses in red. You know, and maybe this year we're right here. Okay, so next year it's going to be even higher as they try to finish it. And that's pretty standard for video games, is that you throw a ton more people on the game right before launch to polish and to do all the other stuff. Marketing gets lumped in there. So expenses are growing exponentially, but their income is not. Like, their income might have initially been like this. And so it technically it is growing exponentially, but not at the same rate as their expenses are. And they are right here. And right here, like, they're starting to lose this amount of money, which this amount they can eat. By next year, they're losing all this cash, which is much harder to swing. That's a good bit tougher, is losing all of this cash. And that doesn't work. And so their hope is that Squadron 42 can launch maybe like here, and that leads to a huge skyrocket in revenue, and then they're okay for another year or two while they finish the Persistent Universe and then release that to the broader public. My argument, though, like, the average gamer, I think has zero tolerance for the sheer level of greed going on in that in-game store. The average gamer, like, I would guess 99% of you guys, if I asked you, hey, are you interested in this microtransaction? It's for a $1,500 spaceship. Most of you are going F that. Most of you are like, there's no way that's real, right? But it is. It's a macro transaction. Yeah, most of you guys are like, what is wrong with you? But that's what Star Citizen is built on, are those $1,500 ships, the $300 ships, the $100 ships. And that, for most people, is just out of the question. You know, so I think anybody who's interested and is okay with spending that kind of money is already aware of Star Citizen and has already spent a lot of money with them. I think taking it to the broader public doesn't magically introduce another 5 million players who spend that kind of money. You know? I just don't think, I think the whole premise, which is we'll get it to the launch version and then we'll release it and we'll get 5 million more players and they'll spend money like this and then we'll make billions. I think that is a faulty assumption, because I think trying to take it to the mass market will get you laughed out of the store. Like, nobody's going to tolerate it. Imagine the review bombings on Steam when the average gamer hops on and then sees like the DLC list. You know, when you have a game on Steam and you see the DLC list under the game, and it's not $2, $3 microtransactions. It's $1,000, $1,500, $200. Like, people are going to lose their minds. Even, I mean, I don't think they'll ever launch it on Steam, to be clear, which is another part of the problem, because when they do that, they give up 30%. They don't want to do that. And so they have their own launcher and they'll do it that way. But I just think that the whole Star Citizen thing is built on a faulty assumption that there's this huge number of players out there who are willing to throw money to that extent at them. I just don't see it. But they're running out of money and they are desperate. And so they're getting extra greedy really, really quick. Most so-called whales are in debt. Yeah, some of them, it's like an actual addiction thing. And they spend thousands and thousands and rack up credit card debt. And then they can't justify walking away because they've spent so much. So it's a sunk cost fallacy. They can't mentally get around it. So they just keep spending. So for some people, that certainly is the thing. For others, like there's a lot of Star Citizen streamers who buy all the fanciest ships and use it as a tax write-off. I mentioned in the video, again, I don't know if it's like a meme or something that I'm not like familiar with, I guess. Where's my bookmarks? Bookmarks, piece of candy. Okay, well, I guess I'll do this, and then all my tabs are screwed up. Let me see if I can find it. Just a second. I have a lot of bookmarks today because there's a lot of insane news. Here it is. Like, I don't know if this is an inside joke or something, or if this is real, but Dadbod Nerd, fantastic name, Twitch partners, Star Citizen streamers. So streams Star Citizen. Says, so I did a thing. This is a $15,000 pack, like combo pack, that includes 66 ships and 105 items. Now, I'm guessing he probably already owns stuff in here, so it didn't actually cost him $15,000. But if you wanted to buy this outright, this is a $15,000 pack. That's crazy. Okay, that's crazy. But for him, assuming this is real, which I don't know if it is, this is like the ultimate tax write-off. You know, you made some good money this year. You just buy this. Problem solved. I would love to hear the argument, like, to the IRS when they're like, what did you spend $15,000 on? Well, it's for a video game, and it's like a bunch of ships. Oh, so you got ships to play in the video game. Well, no, they don't. Some of them don't exist yet. So they will exist in the future. Like, I would love to hear the IRS responding to that, but that's how I think some of these guys can justify it, is that they are a Star Citizen streamer, and so they can write it off. But the big fallacy with tax write-offs that I had to explain to a couple TikTokers recently, is that writing off something on your taxes does not mean you just save that money. It doesn't, okay? It discounts that expense at your tax rate for where the business income is at that point. So like if you were going to be taxed 30% on $15,000 or on like $100,000 of revenue or income rather, this is effectively discounted at that tax rate. So you save money, yeah, but you're still spending $15,000. Like paying 30% of taxes on $15,000 of income, let's just say 33%, you still pocket $10,000, you know? You still get $10,000 in your pocket. Spending $15,000, you're still paying taxes on the other 85 that you took in. And effectively, this did save you some tax money. Yeah, if you're 33%, like it saved you $5,000, but you still paid out $10,000 for this. It's not free money. It's not. But this is a surprise to some people. Like I told you guys the story about the one TikToker that was at an event I was at recently, who just very confidently is bragging about committing tax fraud. He's like, yeah, I reached the end of the year and I just decided to buy me and my wife new cars, and I just wrote them off. I was like, what? You're a gaming TikToker. What do you mean? Well, yeah, I bought her a Porsche and I bought myself, like, I don't remember what he said, like a Audi or something. I was like, you can't just do that. Like, you don't get to just buy whatever you want and write it off. Like, you're going to have to explain to the IRS why that Porsche was necessary for your business operations. Because the verbiage the IRS uses is like ordinary and reasonable. And they get to decide what's ordinary and reasonable. And if you're a gaming TikToker and you're like, yeah, I needed a Porsche for my wife for my
Lo-Fi
content.
Lazy donated $10 through
Good
Super
luck.
Chat. New Witcher book is getting an English translation this fall. Are you going to buy it?
Hell yeah. Hell yeah. I'm excited to see what is up, because I have not looked at any of that. So I'm excited to see. I have all the other Witcher books. They're behind that big monitor, but yeah, I have all the Witcher books. It's very good. Or actually, are they? Yeah, no, they're behind there. But yeah, I have all the Witcher books. I'm excited for that. Hopefully the translation's good. Thank you for the 10. That's very generous. Seth, thank you for the 2 months. I spent $1,500, hopefully not 15, on Hook. I mean, Star Citizen. At least with like hookers, you're getting something that exists. Some poontang, you know, a little bit of, you know, knocking boots, I guess. But with these things, like a lot of the time you're buying ships that don't exist yet. Like you're buying the promise of a digital spaceship in a video game that may not exist in a year. You know? It's like a little sad. it's a little sad. If you're going to be addicted to spending money like recklessly, be addicted to something fun. At least with like gambling in a casino, you can win money. It's not likely, but you can. You know, at least there's a chance. You know, with hookers, you get a little give and take. You know, but with this stuff, it's just doesn't make any sense. Doesn't make any sense. Yeah, at least NFTs, you get a picture of a monkey and you can troll people with it. Yeah. Everyone take note of Luke's eloquent use of the Latin word poontang. Lo-Fi, are you going to buy the new Witcher book? Yeah. Bean Dippins, thank you for the 2. What do you think about the new KCD 2 DLC? I want to play it, but it's broken on my install of the game. I've actually been going back and forth with the guys over at Warhorse to try and fix it, because I don't want to have to start an entirely new game to play through the DLC, but for whatever reason it's broken on my install. So they're being very nice. They're helping me with it, trying to figure it out. But yeah, I've wanted to play it. They actually hooked me up with access to the DLC like 3-4 days early or whatever it was, before its launch. So I was super excited. I was like, I can download it, play it on the Steam Deck. Like I was so excited, and it just wouldn't work. But they're helping me try to figure it out. So I appreciate that from them. Tyler became a member at the show off tier. That's fantastic. Thank you so much. Any guesses on a remastered Oblivion patch with Connor with the 2? I mean, they've got to be working on it, right? Because it's like hella broken, but we'll see. Never expect anything from Bethesda. A wise man once said that.
Shout out to the chess club.
Yep. Never expect anything. JFD. I tried Doom, uninstalled it very quick. Not my game. Cheers to all those who love it. Yeah, I think it's very polarizing. More so than I think some people expected it to be, but that just comes with the territory of trying new things for sure. It's certainly the most accessible Doom. I think there's a lot of people who've never played Doom or have fallen off previous Dooms before who are getting into it for the first time. Joaquin, 27 months. Oh, baby. Thank you, my friend. That's fantastic. Over 2 years. That's insane. It does not feel like 2 years, but I guess it has been. And then Bubbles, thank you for the 2. Appreciate your content, man. Love your critiques. Thank you, my friend. Thank you. I like doing them too. I've got to be more lean and focused, though. I can't do another 8-hour Starfield thing. Like, for the love of God. I still don't know how that video got so massive. I really don't. Okay. We should start working through some of these stories, because some of them are insane. Did I see the Arc Raiders preview from IGN? I think so. I don't remember if we looked at theirs, but I also played the alpha or whatever it was, and thought it was pretty solid. played it with some friends, and they got like pretty hardcore addicted to it. Okay. How has Star Citizen been in development since 2011 and cost around $800 million? It still isn't out when GTA 6 has been in development for 5 years. It cost about $1 billion. I think mismanagement and feature creep. That's the other thing. The original version of Star Citizen that they described in 2012 was not even close to what it is now and what they want to do now. And as a result, like, there's just so much that's been added, that they've redone, that they've scrapped and restarted. There's just a ton. And so, yeah, I think it's just a lot of things, but it's a lot. Would love an 8-hour KCD 2 video. Me too. Me too. I have all the footage. I have like a ridiculous amount of footage from that game. I love it. I love it. Let's see. And then, did you see IGN gave the new KCD 2 DLC a 6 out of 10? I did not. Is it like a 6 out of 10, or is that totally out of pocket? Because like I said, I haven't been able to play it, so I don't really know what it's like. But their quick summation is it's okay. It isn't bad at all. It's simply a bit threadbare as a standalone experience and didn't feel like a strong follow-up to what had come before. A 12-hour questline for $5 in an already amazing game, and you gave it a 6. I could see a 6 being valid if it was 30, but for 5, what are you even expecting? You can't even get cool armor for $5 in most games these days. Yeah, I mean, if $5, 12 hours, is it actually 12 hours, or is it like when people said Shattered Space was 12 hours? It's like, it's 12 hours if you crawl everywhere. If you go prone and just slither like a slithery little snake. I don't know. I'm excited to try it. I want to try it. Hopefully it gets fixed for me. Let's see. Luke, I'm in awe that you can just call up Warhorse, other studios, and say, yeah, this doesn't work. You should be very proud of yourself. Thank you, Seth. Yeah, it's because I'm spoiled. That's a lot of it. But it's also, to their credit, they are a phenomenal group of guys and gals over there. And they are incredibly kind. I mean, they really are just super, super kind. And they want everybody to have a really good time. They would work one-on-one with people if they had the chance. It's just, you know, when you're talking about thousands and thousands of people, can't really do that. But it's like, I mean, they're a very, very cool group of people. I'm very excited to see what they're doing next. Oh, and then let's see, Kwizang. Thank you for the sub with Prime over on Twitch. Thank you. And the top dog 007 also subbed with Prime. Thank you, my friend. Thank you. Let's see. Dragon Killer. No matter how good Star Citizen is, I will probably never play it. And I think that that's true for most people. And the difficulty for them, and again, what I just think that they have not grasped, is even though their current player base is okay with spending a lot of money and they're desensitized to it, right? Like they're used to it. The average gamer sees that pricing and the monetization, and it's a deterrent. They're not desensitized to it. They see it and they go, F that, and they don't bother getting into the game to begin with. And I don't think they've really processed that. You know, it's such a barrier to entry that a lot of people will just shrug and hand wave it away. And I don't think they realize it. I think they just are assuming that once they can release it and once it's done, they can put it out, move on, and they get 5 million new players, and those players spend money at the same rate or a similar rate as the current crowd is. And that's just not true. It's just not true. I think anybody who's willing to spend that much money is already in Star Citizen. Maybe a few stragglers here and there, but I really, really don't think that it's I think the core business model of that game, which is that it's massive and extremely expensive to maintain, I think it's built on a faulty premise that they're going to magically get more money from the sheer volume of people they need to, because I don't think it's going to happen. So they're getting desperate and they're trying to monetize everything, and that's turning off the hardcore people now too. And it's true of all games. Once your hardcore players move on, you're done. You're done. There's nothing you can do anymore, because they're the whales. They're the ones that are keeping you afloat. And if you're going to tick them off, you're really screwed. You're really screwed at that point. So, anywho, will you give us a review on the KCD2 DLC when you finish? Sure. Yeah, just remind me and ask me. But chances are when I finish it, I'll want to talk about it. So you might not even have to do that. But yeah, once I get it working and installed, I'll do it. I've been playing on the Steam Deck in bed, Death Stranding of all games recently. Trying to get refamiliarized with it before the sequel. Still a really freaking weird game, dude. Really weird game. It's so freaking weird. I still stand by pretty much everything I said about it at launch, which is not common. Usually I'll like review a game or critique a game, and after a few years I go back to it and I have some tweaked opinions, or maybe I change my mind completely on certain things. That happened with like Fallout 4. I think you can have a really good time with Fallout 4 if you play it as like if you don't play it like an RPG at all. Like a lot of people in the community were telling me, don't play the main story. Ignore the main story. Play like a few hours of it, you know, to get a couple of key, you know, points introduced, but then ignore it all and just do side stuff. And I tried it and it makes the game way, way better. Like way better if you actively ignore major components of it. And that was something I didn't think or realize at launch. But typically that will happen as years go by, is that, you know, you'll change your mind or you'll appreciate new things you didn't before. But with Death Stranding, pretty much everything from launch, I'm like, yep. No, I agree with myself. Yep. Pretty well locked in. Isn't all the side stuff generated? No. In Fallout 4, it's fairly meticulously handcrafted. But speaking of handcrafted and meticulous, are you ready? Should we talk about this? Also, Markle, thank you for the 5. Did you get to check out Dune Awakening? I did not get to play it. Through my own fault. I had some scheduling conflicts with when we were supposed to be doing a preview. But I do want to try it. So stay tuned. Might check it out. Okay. Speaking of handcrafted. News segment. Okay, so this story is absolutely insane, and it's a little over 24 hours old at this point, so it's very fresh. Things are constantly changing, but I want to give you a quick rundown. Marathon. The game that is supposed to be the saving grace for Bungie, which is, I mean, again, this game is supposed to justify a $3.7 billion acquisition price. Sony bought them for that amount. And they bought them under the premise that they were going to have 3 games: Destiny 2, Marathon, and then a third kind of spin-off game that they were working on. That third spin-off game is part of an entirely new team that's separate and was revealed like a week or two ago. So that's off in the distance. It's not technically a Bungie thing anymore. Destiny 2 is losing money and isn't doing so hot, so it is what it is. And then Marathon is here. And Marathon, of course, recently had the preview event. I got to go to it, talk to some of the developers and designers and stuff. At that event, they were saying things that I found quite worrisome, such as the fact that they kept describing it as very early. And they said things like, they said they wanted this to be a revolutionary game in the extraction shooter genre that just totally redoes the genre in a way that like Destiny introduced more MMO aspects to a console audience. They wanted to do that, but with extraction shooters, basically bring it to console and make it accessible there in a way that like Tarkov isn't. And I asked them, what is revolutionary about this game? And they said, I think what's going to be really revolutionary and what's going to really impress people is the fourth map that they will bring after launch, that is set on the Marathon spaceship and is massive and crazy and has all sorts of cool like dungeon crawling mechanics and stuff, but they wouldn't show us anything from that, and they wouldn't tell us anything specific because they didn't want to spoil it. So, okay, I just have to trust you that that fourth map is going to be so good that it makes this revolutionary. Maybe. But even that, they said, is for endgame players. It's probably like a something you get into at like 50, 60, 70 hours because you need purple shields and stuff to even attempt it. And so like it's tough to tell me this is revolutionary after you're in the end game. It's kind of tough to get into it under the promise of it being revolutionary in the future, but whatever. And the second thing they said that was revolutionary was the ranked mode. And the most baffling thing about that is I asked them, oh, so the ranked mode, how does that work? And they said, well, we don't really know yet because we haven't built it, but we have some ideas. They have concepts of ideas of what the ranked mode will be, and they're 5 months out from launch. So like the odds of that ranked mode being ready for launch, I think are shockingly low. I think there is almost no chance that the ranked mode ends up at launch. So you're telling me both of the things that make this game special and revolutionary are like coming after launch, or will be so thrown together to get to launch that it won't even really, they probably won't even be at their full potential or fully functioning. So major red flags across the board. Like to me, it just seems like Marathon needs a lot more time. It needs like another year, needs more maps, needs more content. So already this, rewind the clocks to yesterday morning before all of this new stuff broke. Already we're a little concerned because it feels like they need to spend an extra year and it needs to be delayed. And Sony is not giving them a delay. They just are like, figure it out, put it out. I don't care. But, maybe it surprises us and is phenomenal at launch, but, the odds I think are not that great. I think it needs more time. But that was as of yesterday morning at like 9 a.m. What happened at 11:28 a.m.? Well, an artist called N Squared for NT1R34L, I think it's supposed to be not real. I don't know. Anyway, they posted this. The Marathon Alpha released recently and its environments are covered with assets lifted from poster designs I made in 2017. Huh. It's a woman, by the way. Anti-real. That's it. I don't know what this, there's like a term for this type of writing where it's mixing the numbers and stuff. I don't remember what it is. But yeah, anti-real. That makes more sense. So this artist, thank you for the correction there. She posted this and showed some screenshots of posters released in 2017. And yes, these are posters from 2017. July 15th, 2017. I found the original post. This is the poster, okay? ALEPH, Dark Space Haulage Logistics, okay? And we go into here, and what do you see? It's identical. Enhance. Hold on. I screwed up my screen. Hold on. It's identical. Dark Space Haulage Logistics. All over. All over the place. There are these identical copy and pastings where it's not even like visually similar. It's all like one-to-one. Just the textures have been copied here and then pasted over here. What? She goes on. Bungie is of course not obligated to hire me when making a game that draws overwhelmingly from the same design language I've refined for the last decade, but clearly my work was good enough to pillage for ideas and plaster all over their game without pay or attribution. Here are some more little snippets. Okay. From Marathon Press Kit, Code Fragments, ARG. This was posted back in 2016 on her page. Looks a little similar. So this is hers. This is hers. And this is theirs. it's getting a little hard to just hand wave it away, you know? I don't have the resources nor the energy to spare to pursue this legally, but I have lost count of the number of times major company has deemed it easier to pay a designer to imitate or steal my work than to write me an email. In 10 years, I've never made a consistent income from this work, and I am tired of designers from huge companies mood boarding and parasiting my designs while I struggle to make a living. And this was what initially seemed to have maybe happened, is this idea of mood boarding. This is something that concept artists will do all the time. Like you can even see, do I have an art book? Maybe in like this. What they'll do when they're trying to like come up with art designs for some of these games is they'll come up with a bunch of like key art that they then reference.
Fearless Wolf donated £10 through Super Chat.
Thank you.
This is why games flop when devs go corpo. 90s, oh gaming had soul. Now it's $50 for a weed camo and a prime gun. From counterculture to cash cow. What a fall.
Yeah, for real. Are you telling me you don't want to play as Seth Rogen? You don't want to play Call of Duty as Seth Rogen smoking weed? Sounds like something's wrong with you. Just saying. But like this is not the perfect example because this is art that they did. But they'll come up with a vision board, okay? This is for the patrol level in The Last of Us Part 2. And they come up with all this artwork and they put them up on, it's a mood board basically. And they put it together, and then the level designers and all of the artwork and environmental people will go with this artwork and build out the levels based on those ideas, those concepts. And this is why like concept artists are so important, because they can draw these pictures. And I mean, you can even see here some of the original artwork for the sequence when Joel plays golf for the first time. And you can see like the original concept for Ellie cradling Joel's body, the original concept for what the graveyard would look like, the house. In this case, the house is an actual like picture. They actually just found a picture of Joel's of a house, and we're like, yeah, that's what we think it should look like. So mood boarding happens all the time in like these types of businesses where artists will collect a bunch of pictures and inspirations, and then they'll try to build out their own aesthetic from there. But what's become incredibly clear over the last 24 hours is that that is not what happened here. Okay. This was not an instance of a couple of artists taking some screenshots of these, putting them on a mood board, and then trying to like take inspiration from it. There are things that are, like we said, carbon copied, like this. It's hard for me to say like, oh, it's inspiration when it's ALEPH and that exact thing is copied over there. But what's also striking is that this whole art style, this aesthetic, is something that she put together back in 2017 and 16. And it's very unique. It's very, very original, which is why for so long people were saying the one thing you can say about Marathon is the art style is really unique. It's really cool looking. And you can see like even literally my logo, even her logo is like still retained in all of these little decals and stuff. The artwork is all over every single asset in the game. Like even these blue things, the arrows are taken from this. That was posted, September 27th of 2017. I'm gonna tell you Anti-Real right now. You should put up like a GoFundMe. Honestly, you don't even need to do that. I know, like I have lawyers in my family that would cream their pants at the very idea of getting to represent you in a lawsuit against Bungie. Okay. Any lawyer who understands what's happened here will take your case pro bono, and you will never work another day in your life. Okay. I'm telling you right now. Okay. I'm telling you. Yeah, exactly. Your literal logo has been copy and pasted into the game that they're going to try to sell for a premium price tag. Like, there's no doubt in my mind that you've got this locked and loaded. What's been clear though, after all of this broke, you know, there's been, this one's also really tough. Anti-Real daily series. it's even copy and pasted in, but the quality's been dropped off. So like even that's been retained in the post. So what did Marathon devs do? This is where I start to get extra peeved. Okay. They posted to a secondary account, not their official Bungie Marathon account. Okay. Not their official Bungie Marathon account, but they posted to their secondary account. They could have posted this here. They didn't. They posted it to this little known and little followed Marathon dev team account because they don't want to like acknowledge this in the broader public setting, which already feels really, really weird. Like if you're going to own it, own it. But they said, we immediately investigated a concern regarding unauthorized use of artist decals in Marathon and confirmed that a former Bungie artist included these in a texture sheet that was ultimately used in game. So in other words, like they have a collection of a bunch of textures you can apply to assets. They said that some of these designs were copy and pasted into that texture sheet instead of being made originally. And then they used that on all these assets throughout the game. And that's how this happened. It's that former designer's fault who did this allegedly without Bungie's knowledge, of course. And you know, they're a former employee, so they're like, they don't even work here anymore. We don't even know. But their claim is that a former employee put all these things, copy and pasted all these little bitty things from these posters into a texture sheet and put them in there. Maybe, you know, I'm trying to think of how somebody could ever think that they could do that. If it was work in progress art and the idea was that all of these things were just placeholders until they did original artwork, maybe you could start to understand how this could happen. But why was it released? Like maybe because it was rushed. They never went back and redid the work in progress art. Maybe then you could say that, oh, that's how this happened. But even still, man, it's really tough to like, if it's work in progress, this is a lot of work to do on a work in progress thing. Like they fully textured it. If it was just work in progress, why not leave it untextured for play tests and stuff? I don't understand. So even then, like I'm already struggling to see how this type of thing could happen, but they continue. This issue was unknown by our existing art team, and we are still reviewing how this oversight occurred. We take matters like this very seriously. We've reached out to Anti-Real to discuss this issue and are committed to do right by the artist. For the love of God, Anti-Real, if there's a 0.1% of 1% chance you see this stream clip, but for the love of God, do not talk to them at all. Get a lawyer and have the lawyer speak on your behalf. Anything you say can and will be used against you, okay? Do not say anything. Don't say anything, okay? Get a lawyer, have them speak for you. Call Saul Goodman. Yes. They will try to offer you like, hey, we'll give you 10 grand. Would that help? We're sorry. And if you accept that, and you also say things like, it's fine, I'm just frustrated. Even something off the cuff like that, they can use in future litigation to be like, yeah, well, you said it was fine. And now you're changing your mind on it. But you said it was fine and you accepted our payment of 10 grand. So shut up. Like, do not say anything to them, okay? For the love of God, I'm trying to help, okay? Don't say anything. Don't accept anything. Get a lawyer. Let them do it for you. You will thank your future self. As a matter of policy, we do not use the work of other artists without their permission. To prevent similar issues in the future, we're conducting a thorough review of our in-game assets, specifically those done by the former Bungie artist, I would hope so, and by implementing stricter checks to document all artist contributions. We value the creativity and dedication of all artists who contribute to our games, and we're committed to doing right by them. Thank you for bringing this to our attention. Okay. Yeah, there's a couple of other little tidbits where they say like, a lot of your artists and employees follow this artist on social media, which is another thing where it starts to be like, you know, it's not that they just took some of these individual little bits of the posters, okay, and then they copied them as textures. It's like the whole damn aesthetic, dude. Like, I see this, And I imagine you see this and you go, oh, that's for Marathon. Because it's the whole damn thing. It's the whole aesthetic. It's the whole vibe. You know, like if they had hired this artist 5 years ago, 6, 7 years ago, whatever, and said, hey, can you be the art director for our new game? No problem. You did phenomenal artwork in 2017. They hired you in 2018 to utilize that artwork in their game. Okay. But it's really tough to come up with any explanation other than like they saw this artwork. A lot of the artists at the company followed this artist on social media, were aware at some point of their designs, and you know, now it's being pinned on one specific former artist. But like seriously, I've played the alpha a good bit, and this artwork is all over every asset. Like it's on every asset. They're gonna have to like redo all of the assets in the entire damn game. If Marathon weren't getting a delay now, I think they have to. Like, you have to redo all of the assets. There's nothing else you can do. You have to redo all of it. And even then, like, you redo all of it, what's the agreement they're going to make with this artist? Hopefully not one that just shoves it under the rug. Hopefully she actually, like, pursues full compensation. The one saving grace for Marathon and for Bungie is that they didn't actually release the game yet. They haven't actually accepted any money for it. So there's that. You know, because part of a lot of lawsuits with stuff like this is that you have to prove damages, and you have to prove often when you're the one doing the suing, when you're the plaintiff, you have to argue the damages, and you have to argue that the other person, like the other party, benefited from taking this from you. And that's just not... I don't know how you do that in an alpha, because they've not technically accepted any money for it yet. So that's the one thing that I'm sure Bungie's like, whew, with, because, you know, if this broke on launch day, you're screwed. Please DM her. I can DM her. I'm sure she's getting bombarded right now. But yeah, I can, yeah, I'll DM her real quick and just be like, if you want to chat and get, like, I can help you find some legal help. But yeah, like, this is just one of those things where you just don't talk to anybody, please. Just don't talk. Please be quiet. Because so often with these things, like, just the other, like, last week or whatever, we were coming back from Disney World, and on the flight, we were on like Delta or whatever. My wife Nikki, she got a little bowl of like nuts or whatever that they serve like as a little snack while you are on your flight. She got that, and inside she like pops some nuts in her mouth or whatever, and she's eating, and a little piece of glass from some bowl or cup or something had gotten chipped off, fallen in there, and she had put it in her mouth and then chewed, and that piece of glass dug into her molar and it like scraped her tooth. And she told the flight attendant, and the flight attendant was like, oh God. And I noticed like the flight attendant going back and hops on the phone and all that, and they're like checking in with her multiple times. And as we get ready to land, the flight attendant's like, yeah, somebody's just going to be at the gate to chat with you real quick, make sure you're okay. And if you need an ambulance or something, we can do that. Sounds very nice, right? Sounds very kind. It's not what it is. That person that's waiting at the gate is not just like a friend to check on you. The person at the gate works with Delta Legal and is there to say, okay, are you feeling okay? Yeah, I feel fine, but done. At the gate, you told one of our reps that you said you felt fine. And then it was after that you decided you wanted to contact us about compensation for this damage to your tooth. And all of a sudden you weren't fine. Why did you lie to our attendant? Are you a liar? Like, that's how this stuff starts, okay? My wife gets off. She gets off the plane first. I'm packing up the rest of our stuff. And as I'm walking out the plane, the captain is, right outside the door, and the flight attendant is standing right next to him. And Nikki walks off the plane first, and you can see the captain turn to the flight attendant. Is that her? Like, the captain and everybody was already talking about this, It's already a topic of conversation.
Jerry Dingleberry donated $10
Can't say
through
anything.
Super Chat. These peasants are so ungrateful. People should be happy that they have their art stolen and used for profit by the great Lord Bungie, and even happier to pay to see your own art.
Yeah, isn't it like an experience to get to see your own art? Isn't that great? Thank you for the 10. But my point of bringing up this story is that in that moment, it may seem like, oh, they're just trying to help. Bungie's reaching out to this artist to see if she's okay, and what can we do to make this right? Your art has been a real inspiration for us. We'd like to buy you a new car. Do you really think they're doing that out of the goodness of their heart? They're not. They're not. They're doing that because they think the new car will be way cheaper than whatever you could get if you were to go through formal actions. And the problem is for Bungie is that they have a history of doing this. There's been like 3 or 4 other instances where they've used artwork in cutscenes and stuff that looks shockingly similar to what other people have done. Yeah, like Mr. Gaming Counselor says, Destiny 2 Witch Queen trailer used fan art of Zivu Arath in trailer without credit, credited artist after the mistake was noticed. Destiny 2 cutscene used near identical fan art in a cutscene, apologized, compensated the artist. Destiny 2 Ace of Spades Nerf gun, copy design for Nerf replica, identical patterns, in contact to compensate and credit, and then this latest one. So it's a problem within the Bungie art team, it seems. There's somebody that's just, they take art and put it on like a Pinterest board, and then they go and copy it like 1-to-1, and then only apologize or only credit after they get caught. So it's a problem at Bungie's art team. That seems to be the common thread here, But where I start to like really not feel like what kind of puts the nail in the coffin for this being for Bungie not acting in good faith here is that they put this on their like very low follower little bitty X account, just kind of whispering it out instead of actually responding on their primary accounts and stuff. It's not an accident. It's not an accident. At the end of the day, the art director is responsible. Yeah. I mean, you would think that there's some process where they can make sure that everything they're putting into the game is original. But again, if it happens like 1 time, it's an occurrence, 2 times, it's a coincidence, 3 times, it's a pattern, 4 times, you're stupid. And it's stupid for you to think that we're all just going to like ignore it. So at this point, the fallout from all of this is that I think they have to delay the game and they have to redo the art, like assets, at least to make them original. Like I think even here, let me show you this. I think even this artwork, even these numbers and stuff on the main
Maestro
page
donated $20 through Super Chat.
is
Hey,
from
Luke,
those posters.
I let my manager know you agreed to cover my shift at Taco Bell tomorrow.
Oh, good.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for the 20. Yeah, just don't worry about it. Yeah. You told me that I get to eat whatever I want. It's like free for all. So as you're making burritos, you get to eat a burrito. One for you, one for me. All I'm going to do is make steak quesadillas. The fact that those are no longer on the menu is a crime. And I don't care who knows it. I don't care who knows it. Quesadillas are goated, man. They're goated. Let's see. Meanwhile, Sandfall Interactive is giving creator credit to a dog. The 33rd member of the company. Yeah. How TF did this get through? If this went past oversight, what did they not check? I think that they're claiming that a singular artist basically passed this off as their own and said, I did this. I made this. These are my textures. This is my stuff. There you go. That's the claim. They're saying this one artist did it. And maybe that artist, who's a former Bungie employee, maybe that's the artist that was responsible for taking the design of the Nerf gun. And they were fired after that. And so maybe this is a pattern and all this work was done back then. You would think they would have reviewed their work prior to that if they were the one responsible for that. But their claim is that it's one person who basically was saying all of this was their own work when it wasn't. Either way, it's like the outcome of this is pretty clear. I think they have to delay it. They have to redo artwork. But even then, how do you get around like the sheer volume of negativity around this game right now? I don't know. Man. I cannot see a world in which this launches and people are like, well, whatever. Like, I think it's just the narrative around the game is so negative. Even prior to this, after the alpha, people were already like, Arc Raiders looks better. And now, I don't know how on earth they dig themselves out of this hole. Like this is a massive, $1 billion nail in a $3.7 billion coffin. I mean, this is insane. And, I feel for like the game designers. I feel for like, the Joe Ziegler types, the guys that have been designing the video game. They don't work on the art. They don't work on any of that stuff. They're just trying to find a way to make a good game. They didn't do anything wrong in this case, other than like working on a game that's being rushed.
Amito J donated $9.99 through Super Chat. Luke, in your KCD2 review you said you had a bug, but that was spoiler heavy and you didn't show that to us. Can you now show us, since I've completed the game and ready for DLC?
Let me think which bug that was. I think I'd have to go back and check my notes. Because it had, if I recall correctly, it had to do with a like soft lock, I think is the one that was referring to, but the soft lock happens at a pretty pivotal moment. And so I didn't want to spoil that. So I'd have to check my notes. Mr. Mo, no spoilers. I'm not finished. No, Luke. No. Okay. I won't. You know what? Pop into our Discord, Emi Tohei, and I can share it more directly with you in the spoiler channel. Because then if people don't want to see it, I think what I'll do is I'll make a thread for each of these like spoilers in that channel. And so any spoilers that are discussed are in their own thread. So if you don't want to see it, you don't have to see it. But yeah, we'll do that. Yeah. But yeah, pop over there, pop into the Discord and we can talk about it there. I have all my timestamps still noted, so I probably still have the clip too. Thank you for the 10, by the way. Brown Boy Gaming, what are your top 3 most anticipated upcoming games of 2025 now that GTA 6 is out of the picture? For me, it's Yote, Hell is Us, MGS Snake Eater, and Outer Worlds 2 if it comes out. For me, it's probably, unannounced Black Flag remake. I'm really excited for that to be revealed. I hope it's good. Mafia looks really, really good. I'm excited for that. I don't think Gears is in 25 anymore. I think that's 26. Battlefield, if that launches, that might launch in like February, March. But if that launches this year, that'd be really, really cool. Borderlands looks cool. Ghost looks cool. There's a lot. Crimson Desert, if it launches this year, I don't know if it will though. That's the thing. Some of these are just big question marks, but yeah, there's a lot. If I had to go top 3, I'm going to go Mafia, Ghost of Yote, and then Black Flag remake, I think. But there's a lot that are close to that. Death Stranding 2, I don't know. All the videos and stuff, I watched SkillUp's video on it in addition to that really painful IGN one. It seems like it's just Death Stranding 2. It is more Death Stranding, bigger, and, it has some more bells and whistles to it. But it's Death Stranding. So for me, Death Stranding was like a B-. and the problems were all related to like the writing and stuff, and it seems like none of that's changed. So I'm guessing Death Stranding 2 will be another like B+ for me, which isn't a bad thing, but I'm guessing
Jerry
that's how it feels.
Dingleberry donated $10 through Super Chat.
I love that name.
Mr. Stevens, how long until we plug Ethernet cables into our brains and experience brain crashes and have our heads explode like Cyberpunk from game-breaking bugs? I personally can't wait.
Personally, I can't wait. One of the interesting reveals, you know, there's been this big trip where Trump went to Saudi Arabia and the Middle East just in general, and Elon went with him. A bunch of tech execs went. Well, let's see if I can find it. They revealed that they're going to be doing like clinical trials for Neuralink in Saudi Arabia as a part of their new like partnership. So it might actually happen sooner than you would think. Because one of the big things with these partnerships is that they want to be able to test those things, maybe in areas where the regulations are not as strict. So yeah, I think that we actually probably see that relatively, faster than you might expect, is like a lot of the Neuralink developments. I can't find the post from it. But anyway, I for one can't wait. Sounds kind of racist. What's racist? Doing the clinical tests in Saudi Arabia. I think it's because like the government there is wanting to invest crazy high and very aggressively in tech advancements and emerging markets. And the Neuralink thing is very exciting because if it actually does, like one of the things is Elon's like, I want to make it so people don't have to sleep anymore. We just turn off that need in the brain. And if you could have a Neuralink chip that allows you to just turn off the need for sleep, that's pretty valuable. I'd buy it. I hate sleeping. I hate it. Like I would love the chance to turn that part of my brain off. You just get a third of your life added. Like it would be amazing. So I think that they're willing to invest heavily in it, which is why they're partnering up there. But it's also because like the regulations on clinical trials in Saudi Arabia are not as comprehensive as they may be in the States, you know. What? No, sleeping is so good. No, dude, I hate sleeping. Our brain needs that though. That's why they want to find a way to turn it off, because right now it needs it. But what if you could find a way to not need it? That's the idea, at least. Let's be honest, it's mostly because they could get you to do 24-hour shifts. Exactly, N7 Shepherd. Exactly. Like they're like, oh, so you're telling us we could have factory workers that can work 24/7? I like that. So yeah, I hate sleeping. That's just me. I'm sorry. It boggles my wife's mind. She's like, what do you mean you hate sleeping? It's like, I hate sleeping. I don't know what you want from me. I just don't like it. Like I'm upset when the day's over and I have to go lay down. I can't stand it. Thank you, Sterling. Thoughts on the Half-Life leaks and rumors? It probably is real. I think it probably is real. They're just waiting until it's ready. Like they just have no need to rush it. Let's see. Did I miss any others? Thank you guys for the very generous super chats and stuff, by the way. Thank you. Hannibal Lecter, thank you for the super chat. Do you think hardcore Bungie fans will harass the artist if the game gets delayed? Probably even if it doesn't. They're probably still gonna try to harass her because they just, that's just what people do on the internet. And they're upset that they tarnished, the reputation of the game is tarnished now. But yeah, unfortunately, it probably happens regardless. Ismail, thank you for that. Maybe Sony was rushing the game and so didn't have enough time for more concepts. So the texturing artist took stuff from Twitter that matches the style quickly. They can just replace those textures. It's kind of my feeling is either that this is like a chronic offender who was responsible for some of the other times that Bungie's been caught doing this, or
Caleb donated $10 through
It's
Super
that.
Chat. Nah, I get it, Luke. I too was 6 once and hated bedtime.
Yeah. Thank you for the 10. And yeah, maybe that's what it is. I'm just actually a child at heart. I'm a child at heart. And I just hate bedtime. Maybe that's what it is. I don't know, man. Maybe I don't get restful sleep. Maybe like I haven't had a dream I can remember in I can't even remember. Like I don't have dreams. Somebody's going to clip that. I don't have dreams. But I don't have dreams. I don't have vivid dreams. I don't have any of that stuff. I just close my eyes, fall asleep, wake up, and that's it. I have a smartwatch that monitors my sleep. It says it's fine, but I just don't have vivid sleep. So Luke smokes a lot of weed. No, man, I don't know. Just not for me. Not for me. Sleep, I'm good. Could take it or leave it. Maybe you're not entering REM. Maybe you have sleep apnea. I might. My mom has sleep apnea. I might have something like that. But my smartwatch like tracks my blood oxygen levels and tracks all that stuff while I sleep and has never noticed any problems. But maybe I need to go do a sleep study or something. That might not be a bad idea. Go to sleep with a nicotine patch on. You get some dreams, all right. Jesus, I bet. My God. But yeah, Ismail, I do think that's the other explanation, is that maybe this is like an instance where they were temporary textures and they meant to go back and redo them, but the game's been so rushed that they didn't do that, or this artist left before they did it, and so then they were like, we don't need to. It's whatever. But it's not really an excuse, you know? Did I catch up on... I read that one. Honestly, I thought those textures weren't textures, but placeholders. Is the game supposed to launch that way? Yeah. Dumo Sedan. I do think so. Thank you for the 8 months, by the way. Sturman says with the 5, with this new marathon news, curious if you knew of another financial blunder in the video game industry as big as Sony buying Bungie since COVID. I don't think so. There's nothing on the scale of $3.7 billion that has not returned a penny. Like, they've lost money. And you don't need to be a finance major to understand that if you invest $3 billion, close to $4 billion, and you don't make even $1, that was a bad investment. They literally could have bought government bonds and treasuries, and it would have been a better investment than this. It's insane. But yeah, I don't think there's anything close. Like their purchase of Bungie has been an unequivocal disaster. I mean, there really is no other way to spin it. Even if you like Bungie stuff, even if you love Destiny, it's just there is no way to spin it where it's a good thing. It's been a disaster. And even since they bought them, like, bear in mind, I talked about it in that video. They had about 1,600 employees just a handful of years ago. Now they're down at like 800. So the company has been cut in half. Like it's been a disaster. Was it under Jim Ryan? Yeah, it was Jim Ryan and Herman Holst purchasing it. And it was supposed to be the spearhead that charged forward and allowed them to fulfill their live service dreams. And it's been a disaster across the board. Enigma, Jesus Christ almighty, what have you done? Enigma just became...
Gene Starwin donated $11 through Super
Jesus.
Chat. Hey Luke, I just got a Raj Alley, and oh baby,
Raj
I am
Alley.
impressed. If Xbox is truly going to make an Xbox version of this, what are my hopes for it?
I don't know. It seems like it may just be like it may honestly just be an ROG Ally that has weird grips. It might honestly be that. I'm hoping it comes like built-in Game Pass, like a Game Pass membership or something, or maybe I don't even know. But it seems like it may honestly just be an Ally X with a weirder handle and controller. I hope it's more than that, but that's what it seems to be based on the leaks and stuff. So I probably wouldn't get my hopes up, but they might surprise you. It might be way better than the ROG Ally X, but I wouldn't expect it. But thank you for the 11. Thank you. I'm looking forward to it too. But yeah, Enigma again, just Jesus Christ, becoming a no one should choose this tier member. 8 months of that. That's ridiculous. So Pog Enigma. That sounds dirty. I performed a Pog Enigma on my friend. They had to go to the hospital. But yeah, that's fantastic. Thank you, Enigma. That is very, very generous. Yeah, thank you. That's crazy. Excuse me. Let's see. I gotta finish catching with this. I don't want to miss any of these because you guys have been so generous. If I don't get shot in GTA 6 and die in real life, consider my immersion ruined and my copy refunded. Rockstar will hear from my lawyers. Yeah. You spent $1 billion on this? What is this? I didn't even feel any pain. Dude, I actually have one of those haptic feedback vests where you like connect it to the game, and when you take damage and you get like shot in the game, it feels like an electric shock. I haven't used it yet, but maybe we should do that for a big stream one day. That could be fun. That could be really fun. Have to figure out how to set it up though. But yeah, it's one of those vests. You put it on, and when you get shot in the game, it feels like shocks on you. It seems weird. People use it for VR all the time, but why would you buy that? They sent it to me. It was very, very generous of them. I appreciate it. But hook the vest up to super chats, dude. That would actually be really, really funny. I wonder if you could even do that. We do like a marathon, like a whole marathon of that, and that could be funny. That could be really, really funny. Yeah, we should do that. Jacob, remind me of that, and maybe we'll find a stream we can do that on. That would be really fun. Let's see. Indigo, thank you for the 5. If you go to the Marathon website, they animated the circles and square design. That wasn't one rogue artist. It was multiple UI and texture teams. But I think what they're claiming is that the one artist brought all this forward, and they were like, we love that. You made this? Mm-hmm. Yeah, totally. And then they said, okay, we're going to put that all over the website. Everybody, let's work on this together. I think that that's their claim, is that it was one person who was responsible for this, and then everybody like ran with it. Again, not really an excuse because there should be checks and balances, but still. I'd be curious if Bungie's going to like sue that former employee. Like certainly an argument for brand damage and for misrepresentation and stuff like that. Let's see. Jerry, thank you for the 5. Y'all don't understand. This is Bungie's huge comeback. This game is why they delayed GTA 6, by the way. I can't wait. Yippee. Oh, man. Let's see. I read that one. Dude, you guys have been so crazy this stream that my viewer activity, like, list of contributions and super chats and stuff has glitched out and is stuck. Man. And who knows how many times they've done this and gotten away with it. It says Dragon Killer. Yeah, I mean, we don't know. I mean, now people are going through with a fine-tooth comb and are really checking everything, I'm sure. Let's see. Mr. Sandman, we're getting one step closer to Space Marines turning off parts of the brain that are not needed. Yeah, dude. Getting real close. Any interest in reading The Devils by Joe Abercrombie? Feels like D&D campaign based on Suicide Squad, one of my favorite fantasy books. Oh, really? Oh, that sounds interesting. I've not heard of it. The Devils by Joe Abercrombie. I'll copy and paste that into another tab. I'll look at it after the stream. It's very interesting. Thank you for the recommendation. Thank you. Cameron, thank you for the 2. 3 weeks have passed. Do you feel the same about Expedition 33? Yeah. If anything, I appreciate it more. It's aged like a fine wine. Seth, thank you for that. YouTuber hates sleep. Headlines incoming. Yeah, man. For real.
Bender the Offender donated $10 through
I
Super
love the name
Chat.
so much.
I'm
So
playing through Red Dead 2 again, and I just got to the part where Lenny and Arthur get drunk. Forgot how funny the game can get.
Lenny! Lenny boy! I do love that part too. Lenny boy! And then all of the people's heads get replaced with Lenny. Oh, that sequence is so good. It's so good. Raw Hawk, thank you for the 5. There's a Hawk to a joke to make in there. I don't know. Hey, Luke, trying to get into some dark fantasy books to bring for a trip. Not sure if you have any recommendations or if I should try the Witcher books. I mean, you should try the Witcher books at some point. They're very good. There's a reason that it's like a global phenomenon. So I would certainly try that. Other than that, I don't have a whole lot of experience with broader fantasy. So I don't really have any strong recommendations, but maybe the Devils by Joe Abercrombie, as Tyler recommended. Maybe give that a shot. That could be interesting. Maybe we all work together on that. Lenny boy. Lenny boy. Where are you, Lenny? Let's see. Luke, if you had to rank every game you played this year, what would it be? I mean, I'm going to stick to Expedition, KCD2, Split Fiction, and then you got like Doom and AC Shadows in there. But yeah, I mean, those top three are pretty well locked in at this point, I think. Witcher has books. That's bait. That's bait right there. That's bait. That's bait. Okay, and the degrees below, and then we'll talk about the next thing, because I may have inadvertently done something bad or good, depends on how you look at it. Degrees below, thank you for the 5 months of membership. Luke, quick question: who's your favorite character in Expedition 33, and why is it Monoko? Please help me. Hits every time I had to reset that fight. My favorite is Francois. My favorite's Francois. I mean, he has the most powerful ice attack ever. So how could he not be your favorite? You know? SKE is also very good. Wee! Time for adventure! Yeah. Oh my god, I love him. I would get an SKA tattoo. I would totally do that. It's so good. It's so good. It's freaking hilarious. Okay. Let's talk about this. News segment. Okay, so we just talked a lot about Marathon and the whole scandal going on over there right now, and that is looking more and more likely that it's going to be another addition to the list of failed PlayStation Live service games, which is not a small list. Radic put this list together on X, as you can see, May 2025 update. It's amazing. We're doing monthly updates now on PlayStation's live service initiative. And again, just to run through these, there are 18 games listed. Of these, 3 have launched and released and remain out. The 4th, Concord, was taken offline in 11 days, I think it was, which, fun fact, the lifespan of a fly is 15 to 30 days. So your average housefly technically outlived Concord, which is freaking hilarious. Okay? Just so you know. Other than that, there's a few other projects. Marathon by Bungie. Again, I'm not expecting that to pop off that hard. Destruction All-Stars, Lucid Games. I mean, it released. I don't think it's been successful, but yeah, it's out. Helldivers 2 was successful. We recently found out, sold 12 million copies. So that Helldivers 2, certainly this is the most successful. Gran Turismo 7 also has made lots of money, I'm sure, but they've got basically 2 solid successes, I would say, out of all of this. But Concord, not so much. Marathon, at this point, I honestly don't see how they come back from everything that's going on. Like the sentiment around the game was not good to begin with after the alpha. People were already like, oh, well, it's nowhere near as good as Arc Raiders, so I'm going to be playing Arc Raiders instead. And I just don't see how they dig themselves out of this. Like, I really don't. That doesn't give me joy to say that. Like, I was hoping that Bungie would see a resurgence, but after this, I really don't know how they could possibly come back from it. Beyond that, Fair Game $sign was expected at the end of this year, and then they announced a delay, like I think it was a couple months ago or something, but this has been delayed into 2026. And then there's the Horizon multiplayer game made by Guerrilla. That's probably going to launch the same day as GTA 6, knowing their release strategies, but that's probably coming early next year would be the guess. And then there's a Horizon MMO being made by NCSoft that I can't imagine launches next year. I would imagine if they have a big multiplayer Horizon game, they let that stand by itself at least for a year, and then you release the second one. But again, like, I cannot fathom a world in which this, like, both of these do well. But whatever. It's Herman. That's what Herman does, is he loves his Horizon stuff. Team LFG title, Bungie spinoff team. This is what we talked about earlier when we were talking about Marathon and Bungie and everything. This, basically when Sony bought Bungie for $3.7 billion, they bought them for three things: Destiny 2, Marathon, and then this third project. That third project was spun off into its own thing, which is what this is. So this is technically, like, you can think of it as part of that Bungie package, but it's being made by a spin-off team now that's like its own studio. Might be because they're preparing to take decisive action with Bungie, especially after all of this with Marathon's troubles now. But we'll see. Dark Outlaw Games, Jason Blundell led studio. We don't know anything about that. Media Molecule live service game. We don't know anything about that. And then of these other ones, The Last of Us Online was canceled after 4 or 5 years of development. Twisted Metal, canceled. Spider-Man The Great Web, canceled. London Studio live service game, canceled. God of War live service game, canceled. Ben Studio live service game, canceled. And Deviation Games title, canceled. They're doing really well. This is great. This is, in case you're not clear, this is part of the reason, a major component of why this generation has felt so freaking hollow, is because all of these phenomenally talented studios that traditionally would have been working on, you know, those AA or even AAA projects, they were spending years working on this stuff that was either canceled or has just been delayed into oblivion. So, yeah, it's just a mess. It's just a mess. But one of the games that's coming out soon is, of course, Marathon. The other one that's supposed to be coming out in the next year, approximately, is Fair Game $. In case you forgot this one, we joke about this a lot, you know, because it's quite funny. It's pretty bad. They had this disastrous reveal back May of 23. So it's been 2 years. What day is it? In a week, it'll be 2 years since it was revealed, okay? 2 years. And it's this extraction thing, it looks like, where you go and they say your chance to rob the rich and rebalance the scales. Fair Games is a competitive modern heist game where you team up, break into exotic locations, and steal the cargo. The twist, you only need to outsmart guards and security systems. You also compete against other teams. Crews that extract with the most loot and flair might just rise to the top of Fair Game $. Take it till you make it. Who will you recruit first for your crew? So they have all this. They show it. It looks very Watch Dogs-esque, especially this bit with like the masks. It looks very Watch Dogs. And that wasn't really a surprise because this studio is called Haven. And Haven was co-founded by a woman named Jade Raymond. And she's an OG, okay? Like, Jade has worked on some amazingly successful things and then some things that were not that successful. Worked from 2004 to 2010 at Ubisoft Montreal and led the creation of Assassin's Creed. Literally, the franchise would not exist without Jade. It's just a matter of fact, okay? Like, Jade is one of the OGs in creating that fantastically successful franchise. You don't have to like it, but it is worth billions of dollars, and she was there at the beginning. Ubisoft Toronto was the managing director there for 4 years, then moved over to EA Motive and worked on a Star Wars game with Amy Hennig, who famously worked on and started the Uncharted series. Isn't that crazy? Isn't that crazy? So that was the, crap, what was that called? The Star Wars game Amy Hennig was working on. Do you remember? Do you remember what it was called? Amy Hennig, Star Wars. I don't remember the name of it. did they ever name it? Maybe that's why I can't remember the name of it. Yeah, this is Amy Hennig. This is her talking a little bit about it. I don't think they ever showed anything more, but it was basically supposed to be a big narrative game. 1313. How dare you say I could fix her? 1313. E3 demo full gameplay. Yeah, look at this. This game never saw the light of day. What a waste, dude. What an absolute waste. Worked on it for a long time, and then it was dumped and abandoned. Look at that. Skadoosh. It's crazy. Imagine an Uncharted Star Wars game. Sounds great. Sounds great. So she worked over there on that project for a while, and that, you know, of course, would never see the light of day, but worked on that for a while. 2019 to 2021 was head of Stadia Games and Studios. They can't all be winners. You know, they can't all be winners. And then after that, went and founded Haven Studios, working on an original PlayStation IP. And Haven Studios is a studio they bought out. And they bought him out because a lot of the people at Haven were Google employees, former Google people. And they had worked on a bunch of proprietary tech to do a lot of remote work, is my understanding. If you go to their website, the Haven Games website, I can show you. They have a lot of information about, let's see. Is this it? There's like 3 different Haven Studios. Yeah, this is it. So they have a bunch of information on here about how they make tools and they make all this stuff. You can see they're hiring people, senior level designer, gameplay programmer, audio designer, pipeline programming, intern, senior lighting artist, senior UI programmer, all of that. But one of the big things that they pushed was that they had a lot of tools that made remote work easier. They had a lot of tools that allowed for cloud development, which is useful for like having a team in Montreal and then another team in France, another team in Germany, another team in Florida. You have all these people working on the same project at the same time. And that was apparently one of the reasons why Mark Cerny was so excited about their acquisition and getting involved with them from the very, very beginning. But their inaugural project was Fair Game $. And that's why it was so insane that the announcement trailer 2 years ago was received so poorly, because this represented a massive investment for them. But the reaction was universally negative. You want to see me lose 400 million? Want to see me do it again? You sure you want to go through this after Concord, Sony? You want to know about us? No. Eat the rich, $800 console without a disk drive by default. Eat the rich, said BlackRock, the multinational investment management corporation. You can actually feel Sony sweating nervously through the screen. Sony is not looking for a game of the year. Sony's looking to break the 12-day record. Oh, and this is where it gets really hard for them. And not in a good way. Like, for them, the whole dialogue around a lot of these live service games is so negative. It's going to be really hard to dig themselves out of that pit. And that's the difficulty with Marathon right now, is the entire sentiment, the whole discourse, the narrative, everything around that game is disastrously negative. And I don't know how you possibly dig yourself out of that hole. You know, I don't. I really don't see it. Mr. Steal and Kill, Limits Breaker, and Melissa all gifted a membership to the community. One each. Thank you guys. It's fantastic. Welcome. Again, if you just got gifted a membership, get in the Discord right now. Do it. Do it. You'll be happy. It's fantastic. It's a super good time. And thank you guys. It's very generous of you. Thank you. But with this, I think getting over this negativity is the real hurdle. And I don't know how you do it, frankly. I really don't know how you fix this and get people positive about it again. But you might be like, Luke, for the love of God, get to the point. Why are we talking about Fair Game $? Again? Firstly, it's because it's no longer Fair Game $. They changed the name. I think I made fun of it too much. I'm one of the few people that still is talking about fair game $. Most people forget that it exists. And every time I do talk about it, I call it fair game $, because it's a $, and I think it's funny. They are dropping the $, and now just calling it fair games. Yeah, this is coming from Jason Schreier as well, who responded to this and said they're dropping the $. It's now just fair games. Oops. Sorry. The meme is dead and we killed it. But what's more incredible, though, beyond that, you might be also wondering why did you talk about Jade Raymond so much at the top of this? She's leaving the studio that she founded. She's leaving. What? What? Hold on. Where did I put it? Hold on. I need something. Got it. I don't have to tell you, it's not great when the person that founded the company is leaving before the first product even drops. You know, that's not great. And this type of thing has happened before. Do you remember Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League? The founders and heads of that studio left coincidentally right before Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League launched. They left Rocksteady behind and moved on. It's almost like they knew the ship was sinking and they wanted to get out. But there is more information here, okay? It's not just purely speculation or anything. As we can see here from the Bloomberg article, Jade Raymond, the founder and head of Sony Group's Corp's game developer Haven Studios, has left the company. PlayStation leadership didn't give Haven staff a reason for her departure, but it came several weeks after an external test of Haven's first game, the online shooter Fair Games. Again, no $, according to people with knowledge of the matter. Some developers at Haven were concerned about how the game was received and its progress, said the people, who asked not to be identified because they aren't authorized to speak publicly. Here's the thing, okay? The phrasing is leaves studio she founded. But what's the first thing that's reported? PlayStation leadership didn't give the staff a reason for her departure. This was not an instance where she sent out a memo and it's like, hey, due to health concerns, I've had to step away. Or I've decided to leave to put other people in my place to run the project better. It really sounds like she was fired. It really sounds like she was fired. Yeah, invited to leave, maybe, but even then, like, typically when there's like a friendly thing going on, they'll be like, oh, they've decided to step away to pursue other adventures or something. And we wish them the best of luck. For her, it sounds like she didn't show up to work, and then the leadership above her said nothing about why. Not great. Not great. I'll tell you what. Not great. Yeah, it's not sounding too good. Also, Mr. Seal Kill, thank you for gifting 5 memberships. Jesus, welcome everybody. Welcome everybody who just got to join the Discord. Thank you. And thank you, Mr. Steelio Kill, for gifting even more memberships and helping the community out. That's fantastic. Thank you. Also, Mukaya, thank you for the sub with Prime over on Twitch. Thank you, my friend. Let's see. And Odin Arrow, when I try to join the Discord, when I join, it says there's an error. Would you might know a solution? Some people have had to fully disconnect their YouTube account and then reconnect it. If you're already connected like YouTube to Discord, they've had to disconnect, like close the app, reopen the app, and then reconnect, and then it works. So try that. If that doesn't work, like DM me or something on X, and I can help you out. We'll find a way. We'll find a way. Okay. But yeah, doesn't sound great. Doesn't sound great, does it? Doesn't sound great. Here we go. Jade Raymond has been an incredible partner and visionary force in founding Haven Studios, a PlayStation spokesperson said in a statement. We are deeply grateful for her leadership and contributions, and we wish her all the best in her next chapter. This kind of sounds like she was fired. Sounds a little bit like she got fired. A little bit.
Cedric Chasang donated 11 euros through Super Chat.
Thank you, Cedric.
Jade Raymond never shipped anything she directly produced since AC1 in 2007, and jumped from studios to studio. I never understood why she is still being talked about as if she's still relevant.
You do have to wonder if your claim to fame is from 20 years ago, you haven't done anything of consequence since that's shipped, you do have to wonder, like, how are you still here? It is a very fair question. I agree. And people have said, like, she's failing upwards. I mean, I don't know exactly why the Star Wars project, for example, was canceled. I don't know that. I know Stadia was canceled because it's a Google thing where they just start a new project, try it for 6 months, and when it doesn't work, they give up on it and shut everything down. That's just kind of how Google does stuff. But yeah, I mean, without a doubt, it's the results kind of speak for themselves. And even if she was like working on a bunch of very successful games for the last 15 years, and then she worked on Fair Game $, and it was received that way, the results kind of speak for themselves. You are responsible for that massive project, and it's probably going to lose a lot of money. And so, like, that lands on you. And the one thing that I've said for the last year and a half is that Hiroki Totoki, the new head of Sony, he takes no crap. Okay? If he thinks you're bad at your job, you're going to go. You will go away. Right as he takes in a position, does a comprehensive overview of PlayStation, what happens? Jim Ryan is booted out. Herman Holst gets given a chance to be co-CEO and then gets demoted again. And he puts all these people who are from the Japanese side of the business, who are directly answering to him. He puts those people in position. Like, he takes no crap, okay? He is a shark, a corporate shark, and he knows what he's doing. And in this case, if he's looking at it and he's like, no, this is not going great, that's just what it's going to be. And what they specifically say here is that it came several weeks after an external test of Haven's first game. According to people familiar, some developers at Haven were concerned about how the game was received and its progress. So it sounds like they did a play test or a test of some sort of the game as it currently stands 2 years after its announcement. And the reception wasn't, at the very least, wasn't good or overwhelmingly good. Like, the reception worried some of the developers. Some of the developers were concerned about how the game was received and its progress. So devs were concerned at the reaction, and then before you know it, she's out. You killed Fair Games. You don't even know, man. Jesus, man. The spokesperson from PlayStation continued that the company is committed to supporting Haven Studios and excited to continue the journey. Oh, that's good. Fair Games was announced in 2023, one of the few entries remaining in the slate of live service games greenlit by PlayStation several years ago. PlayStation had said it planned to release more than a dozen titles designed to generate recurring revenue from players, but many of those games were canceled or released to disastrous results, such as last year's Concord, an online shooter that was pulled from stores after less than 2 weeks. Fair Games was originally slated for release in fall of 2025, but had been delayed to next spring. Raymond didn't immediately respond to a request for comment comment. A longtime video game industry executive, Raymond previously worked at Ubisoft, EA, and Google Stadia. She founded Haven in 2021. I mean, nonetheless, I think she probably made a lot of money. I think made a lot of money on this. And I wouldn't be surprised if she shows up, you know, maybe Ubisoft rehires her or something. Like, these types of people never go away. They always just kind of find a new place to land. But yeah, not great. And I don't see any way to read that story without it looking an awful lot like they are taking major steps to shake it up and to redo it. And frankly, the game needed that. Like, even if Fair Game $, launched and was like a really good game, let's like put ourselves in a hypothetical space. Even if the gameplay was fantastic, it still would be fighting such a crazy uphill battle because of how negative the reception to the initial trailer was, because of how cringy it was deemed. Because a lot of people did deem it really cringy. They're like, multi-billion-dollar corporation telling me to like eat the rich. Bear in mind, they probably were going to sell this for like $40 to $70. Like, they probably are viewing this as a premium product. Kind of hard to just ignore how ironic that is. It's pretty stupid, but whatever. But it's again, it's just like another sign of how there's a lot of money to be made in live service games. Not that easy to do. It just isn't. But this is another like really, really bad sign for Sony, wasting all this time, all this money on games that have just been disasters. Like, it looks like Marathon's going to be another mess, which is unfortunate, but it just looks that way. And I mean, now Fair Games is seeing major shakeups in its leadership after this external test that they're talking about. And they don't have that much time. I mean, it's supposed to come out like less than a year from now. They said early 2026. She took the $sign with her. That's good. Yeah, she's like, you can fire me, but I want one thing. What do you want? Okay, sure. So anyway, crazy developments in the world of PlayStation Live Service games, my friends. It just keeps getting even more sad. And, you know, maybe they're going to figure it out. Maybe they're going to finally get back into the swing of things. There's speculation and rumors that there might be a PlayStation showcase at the end of the month. Jor actually predicted that it will happen on the 29th of May, that there will be like a surprise announcement like a week out where they say PlayStation Showcase May 29th. And at that showcase, they will reveal Ghost of Yotei gameplay, like extended gameplay. They probably reveal some of the other like smaller things that they've been doing, and the expectation is that they might even reveal the rumored God of War spin-off game, which potentially also launches in November. So they have some stuff, and you know, maybe that's the first step towards a more regular PlayStation cadence of first-party single-player games. But they have a few more live service games to get out before this era is totally behind us. And unfortunately, it's just going to take a little while longer. So that's just what it's going to be. But it goes to show you how just having one stupid executive in the form of like a Jim Ryan can screw up your business for 5, 6, 7 years. Just one executive being an idiot causes all this damage and billions of dollars wasted. They could have told me, asked me like for $100, hey, is us buying Bungie right now a good idea? And I would have said, no, thank you for the $100. And they would have saved still close to $3.7 billion.
Claire Lane donated $10 through Super Chat. Sony wasted this generation with remakes and failed live services.
I mean, it certainly feels like they've wasted a lot of time. And in the case of like Naughty Dog, I don't think there's any way to spin it without saying, yeah, we spent 4 years doing stuff that largely was inconsequential, and that sucks. I mean, it's just a waste. There's also, what's interesting about this, let me see if I can find it real quick. Hold on. Here it is. There's a rumor. I guess we can talk about this as its own segment, but yeah, there's another cancellation over at Naughty Dog has been rumored. Interesting. Yeah, you're like, what? Exactly. I'm about to show you. Thank you for the 5. I say this all the time and I will say it again. Fortnite broke the gaming industry in ways we are still seeing the effects of almost 10 years later. Well, I mean, it just gave everybody, like all these executives got a taste or saw how lucrative a game like that could be. And they all wanted a piece of it. But not everybody can make a Fortnite. And that's, I think that's a good thing. Because there's a lot of things Fortnite is not, despite it being a lot of things. And, but that's, I think, certainly corrupted the evaluation of a lot of these things, I think. Uniform, also, thank you for the membership. Welcome. Thank you. Francisco the Disco, what a name. Thank you for the 5. Sorry if you changed topics, watching 40 minutes behind. How former is a former Bungie artist? 3 years, 5 months, this week? We don't know. It literally could have been 10 minutes before the tweet was posted. They might have been like, did you do this? Yeah, you're fired. And then they say, a former artist. We don't know. And Super Sagittarius, thank you also for gifting the membership. I might have already shouted that out, but either way, thank you. Let's see, Claire Lane. Oh, I did read that one. Chief Adam Gaming, thank you for the 5. Hiroki Totoki is just a Japanese Jim Ryan. I believe he will be bad for PlayStation in the long term, but I'm hoping I'm wrong. His whole thing is margins. His whole thing is not wasting money. So I think he's going to be greenlighting a lot more tight scoped games, I think. And I think he's also going to probably push for tighter turnaround times just in general. He's still going to do live service stuff. They're still going to be pumping out live service stuff for sure. But I don't think he's going to be doing a whole lot of $4 billion acquisitions or anything. At the very least, he's much more competent than Jim Ryan was. I think there's no way to look at Jim Ryan's tenure and be like, yeah, he was a competent business executive. He did good work. I don't see any way to spin it that way. Like, he seems like he's been an absolute disaster. But, you know, that's my opinion, allegedly. And then Cedric, thank you for the 6. Jim stayed at the head of PlayStation less time than it takes to make a first-party game, ... Yeah. And it was still too long. It's still too long, man. Jeez. Okay. Let's talk about this real quick. New segment, mini segment sort of thing. It's no mystery. I feel like Naughty Dog has wasted a lot of time this gen. Honestly, all of PlayStation has with all these live service projects that go nowhere. But Naughty Dog specifically feels really, really wasteful. It's really frustrating to see how little has been done. But it may actually be worse than we thought. Because we heard, of course, about The Last of Us Online. They worked on that from like 2019 before The Last of Us Part 2 launched. It kind of ballooned into its own standalone game when it was originally just going to be like a little mode for The Last of Us Part 2. And they worked on that until it was eventually canceled a handful of years later. After a lot of development work was done on it, they just walked away from it. And now we're getting news that they're not just working, or they haven't just been working on Intergalactic: The Heretic Prophet, which is, of course, their upcoming game that Neil Druckmann has said he's taken a lot of inspiration from games like Elden Ring on it, which is very interesting. He says he likes the idea of telling stories not just through dialogue, but also through the environment and player agency and things like that. So it's going to be very different, I think, than most of their games, but still. They've said that that's their primary focus right now, but they are working on other things. However, there's a rumor, and this is, a week and a half old at this point, but I still wanted to talk about it because there's a rumor, speculation, so take it with a grain of salt, that an unannounced Naughty Dog single-player game was canceled earlier this year. This is from Gaming Bolt. Following the cancellation of the Last of Us standalone multiplayer game, Naughty Dog's Neil Druckmann revealed that the studio had, quote, more than one ambitious new single-player game in development. which I remember hearing. And a lot of people were like, oh, it's The Last of Us Part 3. Might not have been. Of course, the studio revealed Intergalactic, the new sci-fi title, at the Game Awards 2024. Other single-player projects have seemingly been in the works, but according to insider Daniel RPK on Patreon, one was canceled recently. Helmed by Vinit Agarwal, I'm so sorry. Previously, the director of the online title, it was reportedly in development for more than a year and still in the early stages. He would subsequently leave Naughty Dog. Vinit Agarwal, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. I can't read. Hold on. 15 pop-ups because it's LinkedIn, because that's just how LinkedIn does it. You can see Santa Monica, California, and Naughty Dog is listed as the current place of employment. Prior to that, though, let's see. There's been other things also going on. Another single-player title has allegedly been in development for around 3 years and is led by Sean Escaig of Marvel Avengers fame. What? Sean Escaig. This guy, you've probably seen him in some promotional videos and stuff. He worked on The Lost Legacy, Transformers Dark of the Moon. And if we go here, again, LinkedIn, you gotta love it. If we go down, been working pretty hard on this, liked by him. Okay. Where's his, does he not have his job listings? I don't see that. Doesn't look like it. Probably smart that he doesn't put where he's working. But he has worked on Marvel Avengers, which we all kind of know how that went. Not great. But he worked on that, and then he worked at Naughty Dog for a little while. No further details are known, though it could be Uncharted Drake's Fortune remake that was rumored last year. And if you don't remember this, there was a rumor that they were remaking the first game in the Uncharted series. And they were doing it potentially in-house. There's rumors that they might be working with a partner, kind of like how BGS just recently did the Oblivion remake, remaster, whatever, where they had a partner, but they also worked on it a lot. So it wasn't clear what was happening or if they were doing the same thing here, but it was rumored that that was one of the projects in development. However, this has seemingly also been canceled. Okay. So, like, there's been multiple projects that Naughty Dog has worked on in the last generation that have just been worked on for a handful of years and then they get canned. And I don't know if this is because they're just looking at it and being like, it's not going to return a profit. Or maybe they just weren't working out too great. Or maybe they think Heretic Prophet is going to be so good that they need all hands on deck. We don't know. But again, it just kind of reaffirms the idea that they've wasted so much time and money and effort working on these things that never see the light of day. It's wild. And you compare it then to some of the other more prolific developers this generation, like Obsidian. Obsidian's been cranking out games recently. And, you know, even the, not Haven, the guys, they did It Takes Two. What is the name of that studio? Hazelight has even been pumping out more games where, like, they released in 2021 the game of the year, It Takes Two, and then they just this year put out another game, Split Fiction, that was also phenomenally well received. So I just don't like it. It's crazy how you have these teams that are very big, very capable, but then they get into these ruts where they just don't do anything for a decade. Just nothing. And I don't know how that happens, but they certainly get rusty, and I don't know how it possibly could be so prevalent within PlayStation specifically, but man, it's really, really bizarre. So shout out to The Last of Us online project that died so these other games could live and then be killed later. Holla. Holla. Hooray. But hopefully they actually get Heretic Prophet out the door at a reasonable amount of time, and that is good. I guess we'll see. How many of the devs that worked on Uncharted and The Last of Us are even still there? Because the problem in recent years is that our games aren't being made by the team that created the originals that we love. A lot of them are still there. The difference at Naughty Dog is seemingly that they changed company culture a lot after The Last of Us Part 2, and they got rid of crunch. And crunch culture at Naughty Dog was kind of like water and being wet. It was just understood. If you are at Naughty Dog, you will crunch a lot. It's just how it is. And then they fixed that and they improved it, and the studio culture, and it's much healthier now, which is a good thing. But I think that's also caused their games to take way, way longer to make. And that also means that their process of iteration has slowed as well. It used to be that they could cram, 60, 70 hours of work a week out of their employees. And that allowed them to get much further along much faster. And so they could cancel or iterate much faster. And they were also much more focused. But I think, as after the PS4 era, it was pretty clear PlayStation wanted more IP. They didn't want to just be doing sequels upon sequels upon sequels for the next decade or two. They wanted some fresh ideas and some fresh IP. So they greenlit some more like experimental projects, but those have also gone basically nowhere. And a lot of them have been canceled. So it's unfortunate, but it seems like there's multiple layers of problems within Sony's leadership right now for these projects. Yeah, Naughty Dog is good at retaining talent. Yeah, in general they are. There's been some people who have left because working at Sony or at Naughty Dog until recently was very draining. You'd work on Uncharted, crunching your ass off for years and years and years, and then you finally get the game out the door and it's just like, I need a break. I need to go do something else. And a lot of them did. A lot of them went off and did something else. Now that the company culture is way better, I think they've been able to retain a lot of talent and stuff, but still. Okay. Microtransactions have been keeping the game industry afloat. They had a safety net to go ahead and try to build their own money tree, and it failed. I don't know if it's been keeping certain sectors of the games industry afloat for sure, but it also, I think, has been the forbidden fruit that a lot of these executives tasted and cannot get out of their mind. And so now it's corrupting everything. GM, shouldn't crunch be illegal? I think in some areas it probably goes against like union agreements and stuff like that. So I don't think that technically means illegal. Like there's not a law against it, but it would go against agreements. And so they could face penalties and stuff based on those agreements. But how most of these companies, like 10 years ago, how it would work is if you went into a company, you got hired. And this is kind of how it worked when I worked in real estate. We had a lot of crunch, like a lot, especially in the busy times of the year. And how it would work is they said, no, you're like an independent contractor or you're an employee, but like you work from 9 or like 8:30 or 8 a.m. to 5 or whatever the agreement was. And they'd be like, yeah, no, you can go home at 5. I mean, if you go home at 5, we'll know that you don't want this as much as the guys that stay till 8. But yeah, absolutely go till 5. Just, your coworkers are staying here till 8. So if you go home at 5, it might look bad. But yeah, no, you can go home at 5. We'll just notice. And remember that when we do your evaluation. So they can get away with it being like, no, you have the total choice. It's up to you. But then when they do the evaluation at the end of the quarter or whatever, and they're like, yeah, your team just feels like you're not as involved and like as committed to the project as everybody else. Because you keep going home at 5 and they keep working late to get the project done. So we just don't feel you're a team player. And that's how they get away with it, So they basically just emotionally manipulate you to free overtime. It's not even emotional manipulation. It's like straight up business manipulation. Like it's a kind of veiled threat that if you leave at 5 and your coworkers stay till 8, we know you're not working as hard as them. And so we're going to fire you at the end of the quarter. That's kind of like what they're basically saying. I mean, it's it's not even that veiled. Because it used to be when I worked there, the owner of the company, he would do a walkthrough of the whole building at like 7 p.m., 8 p.m., something like that. And he would take a mental note of everybody that was still sitting at their desk. And if you weren't there, he'd make a note of that and be like, well, Luke doesn't want this that much. Luke's not hungry. He's not working extra. So the next time that they're sitting at the table being like, okay, well, we have to get rid of somebody. Who are the go-getters? Who's worth keeping on the team? Well, everybody but Luke stayed late constantly. Okay. And then they boot Luke out. That's how it happens. You know? So it's very toxic. It's very toxic. Wouldn't they face a retaliatory lawsuit? Well, no, because you could leave. You were allowed to leave. They weren't forcing you there. They didn't keep you there. They didn't fire you the day that you didn't work late. They only decided to let you go when they did an evaluation of your performance for the quarter and found that you weren't, the team wasn't feeling super connected to you. So we just decided to move on. Like, everybody knows what's going on, but they have an argument that will almost certainly hold up if you were to try to sue them or anything. And even then, a lot of these companies get around that by just having somebody work as like an independent contractor so that there is no employment contract or anything, you know? But yeah, it's not gaslighting. Gaslighting would be them saying you agreed to unpaid overtime in an interview when you never said such a thing. Yeah. When they're like, you knew what you were getting into. This is Naughty Dog. We work overtime. But to their credit, they fixed that. They wiped out the crunch as far as anybody can tell. And that's a good thing. They got rid of all that. But that's also been something that's happened across the industry, is that there's been a lot of crunch removal and things. And that's caused dev times to lengthen and also costs to skyrocket because they have to actually pay employees for more work instead of just getting it for free. So yeah, it's a big thing. That's why I'm glad I don't live in the US. Well, it's funny because it's also caused problems in like France, because in France, French people do not take crap. Okay. You ask them to stay an extra half hour and they'll be outside of your office building with torches and pitchforks within 20 minutes. Like the Frenchmen love their protests. Okay. It's like a love language for them. But like they've had problems where a lot of those companies are like, we just want you to do a 5-day work week. And they're like, no, we're going to work for 3 days a week and you're going to like it. It's like, oh, okay. And then they shut down the studio and move somewhere else. That's just how it is. Was there a thing about CDPR where they get better bonuses if they did overtime for crunch? That sounds vaguely familiar. There might be something like that. They've also tried to get rid of crunch too, to their credit. So it's been a broader attempt across the industry to get rid of crunch, but it's worse in Japan. Yeah, I've heard that crunch in Japan is just normal. Like it's not seen as weird. It's the same thing when people find out how much From Software, how much they pay their employees. People are like, what? Let's see. Is this it? What's it like working at From Software? Average overtime per month. Let's see. From people who have worked there, graphic designers about 27,000, administrators about 33,000 a year, graphic designers roughly 40,000, programmers about 48,000. Average salary across the whole company is 30,000 a year. Job hour satisfaction is 1.7 out of 5. Challenging job, people give it a 4.4 out of 5 in terms of how challenging it is. Stress-free, people give it a 2.7. Annual leave satisfaction, 3.4. Pay satisfaction, only a 2 out of 5. And then overall satisfaction, i.e. how well they treat their employees, only 2.1 out of 5. Like, people love From Software games, but From Software is not like It's not magical. Okay, this is a post from 8 years ago, to be fair. But the more recent post, let me see if I can find it. This is from 2024. The Japanese developer planned, this was exciting. They planned to increase the starting salary for new graduates from $1,700 a month to $2,000 a month. Their games sell tens of millions of copies, and their starting pay, I'm not joking, you will make more working at like Sonic or McDonald's or something than you will working at From Software, like one of the most prolific and successful developers in the world. It's a starting job, sure, but a starting job at a phenomenally successful company. But people put up with it because you're working at From Software, you know? But this is why every time that people are like, well, From Software is able to get away with charging $60 or is able to get away with this or that. It's like, it's important to remember the whole story, because From Software, like, they're not these pillars of like, you know, ethics or quality employee treatment. Okay. It's like, it's not insane. It's anyway, I want to talk about something fun. This was cool. Let me see if I can Google these real quick. Yeah. Okay. Sounds like a partner saying, sure, go out with your friends to a strip club and get drunk and play poker and come home late. It's okay. Yeah, it's like, are you sure? Yeah. Yeah, no, it's up to you. You're free to do that. You just might not like the outcome. Yeah, exactly. Man. News segment. Yo, Bungie is streaming about Marathon right now, and it's very strange. Yeah, they announced it like a day and a half, 2 days ago. No, they announced that one like a week or two ago. But then, of course, everything just happened with Bungie. And so, I don't know. I'm sure that chat is wild. I don't know. Hopefully they addressed it like right up front. I don't know how you couldn't. But man. News segment. So we've all seen the GTA 6 trailer. It looks fantastic. It looks stupid. Just like absolutely insane. But one of the other things that's kind of interesting about GTA 6 trailer 2 is that it showcases a lot of pretty amazing tech, a lot of absolutely crazy things that people are like, there's no way this is real. Like, there's no way that, like, you know, the sweat dripping down his back is real. There's no way. Like, as he walks, watch the tricep. Okay, not just the sweat dripping down, but watch the tricep. You've never looked so close at a man's tricep before. You're going to see the muscle tense as his arm extends and then loosen as it bends, okay? You see that? That little crease? No homo. I'm just blown away. No crease there. He flexes the tricep and then you get the divide in the muscle. It's insane. Crazy attention to detail, okay? Funnily enough, yeah, Orange Theory Life. Yeah, exactly. Funnily enough, this is tech that they initially put into Red Dead Redemption 2 for the horses. You remember when horses were walking and the muscles would flex and shift? Apparently this is flex. The muscles would move and flex as the horse moved. They've now brought that same tech into GTA 6. And it's all over the place. There's tons of crazy, crazy, impressive things going on here. And interestingly enough, there's also a collection of patents that we can look at to see a lot of these things. Sixy over on X has this with a collection of some of the patents that Rockstar has filed over the last handful of years that are now presumably and potentially being implemented into GTA 6. So I recommend you go check out this full thread. But what's interesting is here, realistic fluids. Hell yeah. Hell yeah. Realistic fluids for the win. This system simulates fluids like sweat running down your back, blood soaking into your clothing, or rain splashing and dripping. It computes everything in 2D for speed, then maps it to 3D sources and scenes. High realism, low performance costs, dynamic grime, weather effects, stains, confirmed. And you can actually pull up the patent and read through how it works. It's wild. As you can see, initially it was filed in 2018. And these are all sorts of like some of the early developmental things that they were doing to actually put this into the game. Way less exciting when you see it here, but when you see it in the trailer, it's quite exciting. It's quite exciting indeed. The second one, supercharged pathfinding. Okay. This system breaks the world into a giant graph of movement nodes, guiding NPCs and cars through complex maps with far better precision. AI can now navigate alleys, so those can actually have people moving through them. Sidewalks, chaotic scenes more naturally, and can react to your character more dynamically. We've seen small example of that in the trailer, like in the beach scenes, for example. And you can see this patent that was filed back in 2021 breaks down how this works with all the different variable nodes and how they can shift and change as time goes by. And I mean, one thing that has to be mentioned here is I don't like patenting gameplay systems. Okay. Viscous indeed. Yes. Hell yeah. Realistic fluids for the win. I don't like patenting gameplay systems. I think it's crazy. It's ridiculous. I honestly don't know how you could possibly enforce a patent like this, because like, again, how do you patent like gameplay nodes for AI systems? I honestly don't know how you could possibly do that. And then like, you're going to sue a company that does it. The invention claimed is a computer implemented method for virtual navigation in a road network of a gaming environment. The road network of the game environment being represented by low level graph comprising one or more low level nodes joined by links. The method comprising generating the low level graph of the road network of the gaming environment, a course graph of the road gaming environment, determining using the course graph of the road network of the gaming environment, a path from the start node to the target node, wherein the path comprises course graph nodes, and generating from said path comprising course graph nodes, a full route from the start node to the target node, wherein the full route encompasses low level nodes. Okay. So like, they're just gonna, this is like those connect the dots games you played when you were waiting at the restaurant at like Cracker Barrel, you know, when you're waiting for your food as a 3-year-old and you're connecting all the dots to make a shape. It's basically how this works, but like you have the NPC here and then the destination is here, and then they chart out the path that they walk to. As far as I understand it, that's been in games for a long time, but apparently this is something more revolutionary. So make of that what you will. This is more interesting, especially after we talked about Star Citizen earlier. Seamless multiplayer transitions, okay? Filed by Rockstar San Diego, specifically. This enables players to move across the map without server switches or loading. The system merges and splits sessions dynamically, meaning one big GTA Online world. This could open for some seriously massive multiplayer lobbies. And the reason I say this is interesting specifically in the context of Star Citizen is because Star Citizen has also done similar tech like this, where they're able to do seamless merging of nodes and things without people noticing. They break it up into what they call shards. It's a whole thing. But this allegedly will allow you to have a massive, massive server that is seamless. So there's no loading from this area to this area to this area. All of the instances are kind of shared together, or at least a group of them. Realistically, this doesn't mean that you're going to have 1 million people on one map. It means that you could have a map full of 500 players, and that would normally be split across like 10 servers, but now it's seamlessly connected. So you could have servers that are way larger, which for us doing like community events could be super cool. If we had like the Luke Stevens live server and it's for the community, and we could have everybody, if we're playing it on stream, you could have hundreds of people who are also in chat in here. That could be super, super cool. So interesting development there. Terrain light that reacts to you. A rendering upgrade to handle footprints in sand or snow with real-time ambient lighting and dynamic surface response. You shoot a street lamp, the world reacts in real time, making you less visible. You walk in sand and mud, and you leave visible footprints. Again, this is something that's been in games previously, and this patent was originally filed in 2019 using pictures and examples from Red Dead Redemption 2. But it seems like this is specifically, if you go into it, where's the text? Yeah, the trail map of the given location with the gaming environment wherein updating utilizes stored record, wherein the updating is based on determined dynamic terrain type. Basically, they want to have actual physical alteration of the terrain instead of just like textures and normal maps and things like that. Again, I'm surprised that this is patented because it seems like this has been in games for a long time. I remember seeing the trailers and stuff for Assassin's Creed 3 with that snow deformation, and I thought that was revolutionary at the time. But still. Dirk says, patents are about how, not the what. So you can have multiple patents about the same thing if they do that thing differently. And I think what I'm trying to say is I don't know how they enforce a patent unless they know how that other company is doing it. Like, maybe there's ways where they do the sand deformation and the sand tracking and stuff so uniquely that it would be very clear if like Ubisoft started doing the same thing. But I do wonder how they differentiate it. But either way, mainly for this video, this is just interesting to see that they've been developing this tech. This has been in the works for years, and they actually went so far as to patent some of it. There are many more that they give examples of other tech advancements that we could probably hunt down and find. There were some patents I remember us looking at previously that had to do with tracking more NPCs at a given time, which is believable. I mean, you look at this screenshot right here. There's cars driving by over here. There's a helicopter over there. There's cars all the way in the background. All the way over there. Okay? Like all over the place. There's NPCs, and the game has to be processing the AI of those. In this bus, too, this is also crazy. Look how many NPCs are in the bus. There's also a police... they're having a shootout arresting a guy. But look how many people are in that bus. Each one of those has to be simulated. Each one of those characters has to be considered. It's wild. Bye-bye FPS. Yeah, that's why they're locking it at 30. That's why they're locking it at 30. But there's crazy tech being presented here, and this is why I've been like, hey, if they need to delay it a year, they got to delay it a year. But games like this push the industry forward and raise the bar and the standards, which is good for the broader industry. Hopefully, performance is good, but we'll see. Rockstar historically has done a really good job polishing, and I think that's why they're taking their time. Having said that, the broader point of like actually patenting things having to do with game design, again, I don't like it, but these patents are years old and they are locked and loaded. So we're just kind of stuck, and it doesn't matter if I like it, they're doing it anyways. But yeah. Oh dude, some of the posts about this. I don't know what's happening with the Bungie thing. Did you finish the clip already, Jacob, for the Bungie stuff that we did earlier? If you haven't finished it, we could clip this onto the end of it. Might be a good idea. No, sir. Okay, let's clip this on. New mini addition to a segment. Okay, so we were about to wrap up that whole discussion marathon, but they're actually doing right now like a discussion of Marathon, and apparently it's not going too great. It's not going super well. And I think copy pasta will make me a god. I think there's been some discourse about it. What are they gonna say? I don't even know what you say to all of this. Oh wait, it's muted.
That it mirrors the intensity of like the experience that we intend on the planet. Like really, a marathon is supposed to be about surviving Tau Ceti and the marathon ship, and surviving that situation, right now it just feels like it's purely about surviving other players, and we want to really make sure that that all comes together both from a creative and gameplay standpoint. And
Dude, the chat is vicious. The chat is going off. Destin says this marathon stream is a disaster from almost every perspective. Bungie, you should call it a day. I get you're taking it on the chin, but the bad production on top of the controversy is just oof. I mean, it seems they've been talking about doing this stream for a while. It seems odd that they're just doing a little webcam and stuff, but whatever. Again, I don't know how you really overcome this. This is the tricky bit. I don't know how you overcome this. And to be clear, it's not like, as far as I can tell, it's not like Joe Ziegler's fault. He has an art team, and the art team is the one responsible for this. But, you know, this is why when one group screws something up, everybody suffers. Paris says the stolen artwork used in Marathon is extremely disappointing. The Bungie leadership needs to take full responsibility by compensating the artist and completely removing all of it from the game. Even then, I don't know if they overcome the negativity. At this point, it might also just be easier for them to just give a fat check to the artist, thank her for her contributions accidentally, and then I think they need to get like written permission from her to use it and move on from there, because I don't think you can just strip all of it out without it just looking like you're creating cheaper imitations of it. I don't know what else you could do, but even then, I don't think they can overcome the negativity at this point surrounding the game. I mean, this is a bit of a mess. So we'll see. I just don't see an easy way out of it. I don't see any way out of it, frankly. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if they, like I said earlier, if they delay it, be like, hey, we're going to delay it while we work on fixing this stuff and responding to feedback from the alpha, whatever, and fixing the artwork. And then they also come out later and they're like, maybe next January or something. And they're like, we made the difficult decision to cancel Marathon, and blah, they'll blame like reception to the alpha or something and move on from there. I think that it might be dead at this point. The game already had problems and in my opinion was launching incomplete, but now you can't explain this away and pretend everything's okay. I feel bad for all the devs who had nothing to do with this, but this is inexcusable and horrible for Bungie. Yeah, I mean, without a doubt. That's why I feel for like the Joe Zieglers. These guys are just trying to make good games, but still.
Ways,
I do
not just one.
That did trigger something that I think we forgot to talk about, that we want to talk about, was build crafting. How we're like sort of thinking a little bit more about how we want to make more distinct build crafting elements, you know?
Yeah, we're tackling.
Dude, I feel so bad. It's kind of funny, but it's also sad. I don't know why they still did this. Like, why did they still do this event? Just take the time. Just take the time, man. Their faces, that's sad AF. I mean, kinda. It's because again, these guys weren't responsible for this, but they have to come here and like still pretend like everything's okay. Man, Michael Scott, yikes face. Yeah, there's no good answer. There's no good response. Like it's just sucks across the board. It's all bad. It's all terrible. They should cancel it. Wouldn't it be a legitimate or a liability to continue to show anything from the game when the art is going to be no longer relevant? I think really what it comes down to is this. I said earlier, Anti-Real, she should get a lawyer, get represented, and then take whatever action she needs to. Because this whole multi-$100 million project has been undertaken with her artwork at the core of it. Okay, from the beginning, in my opinion. So she should do that. She should do that. And if she does that, then releasing the game is a liability, because she has the opportunity to file a lawsuit once the game launches, and then she can argue that there are damages and that they benefited from taking her artwork. If they cancel it, they can still say, we never made a penny on the artwork, so we're not responsible for it. I just went out of focus for some reason. That was weird. But if they release it, they then have damages. She has damages she can claim, and that's not good for them. But as of this moment, the game isn't out. They haven't made a penny on the game. So they can say, yeah, we messed up, or Bungie, a former employee, whatever, messed up, but we didn't benefit. And that, I think, saves them. That's the one saving grace with all this. But if they launch it, that goes out. Luke, should she really take any money off or lawyer up? Would you take the bag? Oh, do not take the bag. Them offering you a bag is them admitting that they know they messed up and something is serious here. Like, these companies do not just hand out money and settlements like nothing. They hand it out because they think that the alternative is worse. If they offer you $100 to just, sorry about this, here you go. It's because they are worried if you don't take that, they will lose more than the 100, which is why they're offering you the 100 and not 200 or 300 or pretending like nothing's wrong. So 1,000,000% she should get a lawyer and go through those steps. Do not talk to them. Do not interact with their legal team. Don't do any of that. But I think that's really what it's going to come down to. If she lawyers up, the odds of Marathon getting canceled go up by like 50 times. I think that they, at that point, their lawyers might say, just cancel it. The odds of it making money are low to begin with. Just cancel it. I think the odds of that skyrocket if she lawyers up. If she does not lawyer up and she takes like a $50,000 settlement or something, which is very low. I mean, I'm talking, if she does this, she could easily walk away with millions if they launch it. Right now, suing right now is tricky. And I think realistically how this will work is that she'll go to a lawyer. She'll talk to them. The lawyer will go, okay, we're going to wait for them to launch the game. And once they do that and they sell 100,000 copies, 1 million copies, whatever it sells. We multiply that by how much money they made for each copy. We take that and then we file a lawsuit saying they made this much money based off of our artwork. Then you've got a really strong case. As of right now, if you filed the lawsuit right now, there aren't damages. They haven't directly profited from the artwork yet. So I think she should lawyer up. And if she lawyers up, I think they cancel this. If she doesn't and she takes a settlement, they probably redo some artwork and still try to put it out. That would be my guess. So a generous number. Yeah, I don't know. The whole thing is, it's getting sad. It's getting sad at this point, but anyway. Okay. Okay. Irrelevant, but did you see the AC Shadows sales? Yikes. I mean, I think most of the stuff with regard to Ubisoft financials are just kind of yikes at the moment, but it's been like that for like 5 years. So I can't say I'm surprised, but it's in my opinion, quite mismanaged company. So I can't say I'm shocked at anything, but what seems to be the case is that the people that did buy AC Shadows and have been playing it are spending a lot on cosmetics and stuff because they're reporting very solid numbers for microtransactions, which is why they put them in. People love the big furry pink lizard mount, whatever. I don't get it, but people spend a lot of money on it. So that seems to be kind of what's keeping Shadows performant, is that they're just getting that microtransaction revenue. Do we see AC Shadows nominated the Game of the Year this year? They seem to like to nom them. Maybe for something like Best Action Game, I could see them maybe nominating them there, but we'll see. Not for like Game of the Year, I don't think. Game of the Year is so stacked this year that I don't think there's any chance of that, but maybe for that. Oh, we have something fun. A fun little opening, by the way. You guys know, one of you guys actually asked if I was interested in Tainted Grail, The Fall of Avalon. If you don't know Tainted Grail. This is this game that's been in early access for a while, and it's like an open world first person RPG. People have said that it's kind of similar in style to like Skyrim. Really dark and gritty, but it's like a hardcore Skyrim, people have said, or people call it like Oblivion 2. I don't know, but they're about to hit 1.0, and I don't typically play a lot of games in early access or anything. It's just not my thing. I prefer when they're done, personally. No, it's dark and gritty Skyrim. No, I'm saying it's like a dark and gritty Skyrim. Just look at this. I love trailers that have music. That's not bad. I love it. I love it. It reminds me of the opening trailer for AC Origins. You remember? What's the verb or the words in that? It's like dark goes the flame or something like that. That song was goated too. But this trailer is for that game, and the devs, I guess the publisher, they were like, hey, we'd like you to check it out. We know you like statues. So they sent a package of the whole thing. I've not opened it. I don't know much about the game, but I appreciate good statues, and I appreciate good artwork to put in the studio, as you guys know. And so I figured, sure, check it out. I've been interested in the game. I don't think we're gonna do any like big review or anything of it, but I'm interested in checking it out. And they sent me a picture of what the statue looks like. And it was quite pretty. So I was like, sure, I'll check it out. And looks like it even came with the game. Oh, it's a desk mat too. Maybe we'll give away some of this stuff to the Discord too. Because God knows I have enough. But look at that. That's pretty Gucci. Get in front of my face. There you go. The pile of bodies underneath. Sounds like Rammstein. Rammstein's sick. With the fire jetpack and everything. Isn't that cool? So shout out to Tainted Grail Fall of Avalon. It comes out like a week from now in 1.0. Early access is out right now. But if you want to check it out, it is happening. It's happening. I'll put it next to Fergus. Oh no, it's too tall. I'll put him here. So thank you guys. I'll open up the rest of it here in a bit, but super cool. You guys know me. I love a good statue. I love a good collector's edition. I'm a bit of a stan for that stuff, and they've got a lot in here. What is this? Is heavy. Fergus is blessed. Oh, geez, it's right out of camera. That's funny. That's a little funny. A new doll for your collection of dolls. They're not dolls, they're action figures. Oh, it's a like one of those disc plates. It's like a steel plate poster. That's kind of cool. That's cool. Fantastic. Fantastic. So thank you. Thank you for that quest line, the devs, and Awaken Realms, the publisher. That's very cool. And I will continue unboxing it, and I'll put it away and kind of get stuff situated later after we're done. So shout out to them. That's super cool. Stick it to your ceiling. Just straight up. Straight up. Okay. Close that. Close that. Do. Okay. Let's touch on this real quick. Super Sagittarius, thank you for the 2. Better Call Luke. Dude, I wanted to be, I don't know, wanted is a strong word. I was going to pursue law school. Because basically I got out of college. with the finance degree, shocker, and then worked in commercial real estate for a bit. And I was like, it was sucking the soul right out of me. Because I described earlier, it was kind of toxic. The just work culture is very toxic there. If you could put up with it, you could be fantastically wealthy doing it. But it was a lot. It really was. And I wanted to start a family, and we had a baby on the way. So it was just like, this isn't working. So I decided to try doing YouTube full time. And it was a risk. And I was like, this might not work out. And my plan was, if it didn't work out, I was going to go and go back to school, specifically law school. And I was going to try to become like a prosecutor or something, or go and work in like corporate law, which can be fun. You know, you can have a really good time doing that and make a lot of money. Because as we know, if a big company, like if a big company is facing down $10 million lawsuit and they can pay a lawyer $1 million to not pay that, they're happy, you know, and that's how they make good money. So yeah, it worked out. It worked out. Space Tomato Raid. Hell yeah. Welcome, welcome. Could be Diddy's lawyer. No. Nah. Yeah. Luke Stevens Esquire. Yes. Yeah. Yo, it actually mentions the raids now. Yeah, it does. It actually pops up. I'll be real. I think my stream stuff on YouTube is like hella broken, because I see other people are able to make like, they're able to make like super chat goals, or they're able to give their own community memberships and subs and stuff. And I don't have any of those buttons like on my dashboard. I think it's glitched for me. So I think my stuff is just broken. Some of the features don't work, but I'm glad that it's popping up and saying when raids happen. That's super cool. That's cool. Have a good stream, my dude. Looks like CIG backed down on their store exclusivity. Big yikes. Yeah, I was hopeful that they would, but now the mask, I mean, it was always off, but now it's extra off. I think it was a reminder to everybody. No, they're going to do this the second that they see an opportunity to do it. Like they're not your friends, you know? CIG, it's the developers of Star Citizen. Yeah, it was really disappointing to see them push that hard and that far, but yeah, it was a wake-up call for some people, I think. So yeah, man, this is a new marketing person. Supposedly they got rid of the last guy last year. This is looking much worse. Well, I think they're just out of money, and now they're like, we have to get cash somehow, and we're going to get it by pushing every way we can. And they're just going to keep pushing and see how much they can get away with. So yeah. Have a good one, dude. Lunchtime. Have a good one. Yes. Go have some lunch. Thank you for popping over. Good to see you, my friend. 800 million over a decade. Yep. And they're still running out of money. Yep. Big Mamba, we talked about it a ton earlier on the stream. We'll do a stream clip and everything, but yep. Yep. Okay. Okay. Let's see. Hey, will you love GTA 6 more than Red Dead 2? I don't know. I will know when I play it. But I don't know. No clue. Hopeful. But you never know. They need to hire Darkside Phil to do their betting. Dude, imagine if they hired DSP to be their marketing person. Just imagine. Guys, I need you to donate $10 to the Pledge Store right now. Right now. You do that, and we could give you ships, but we're not going to do that. You're going to watch me blow bubbles. And you guys keep asking where all the money keeps going. We're having company parties where we play gacha games together. It's really cool team bonding experience, but you know, it's none of your business. It's none of your business where I'm going to go. I'd be tempted to pledge more. Oh, the snort. Yeah, sorry, it's the snort. Hold on. There was one really, really funny clip I heard for the first time recently on, I don't even remember where I saw it. Yeah. Is this it? specifically him saying you chose to broke the law. Is this it?
You chose to broke the law. Live with the consequences. You chose to broke the law. Live with the consequences.
You chose to break the law. Live with the consequences. Oh, it's so good. It's so good. And it's so confident too. It's so like talking down to you.
You chose to broke the law. Live with the consequences.
I love it so much. Oh man. Live with the consequences. Oh man. Oh, can you imagine? Can you imagine? I will say he went viral just the other day for being really bad at Doom. I don't know if you guys saw that. Is this it?
What's going on? What happened? I have no health. What?
Where is? Yeah, here. If you this is how he plays Doom. Chill, positive streamer. Dude, you can't make it up. It's amazing. And then he said anybody who clipped this was lying about it. It's just, for me, it's the slow turn and stuff. It's the slow turn. But I think what was most worrisome, I wonder if I can find it. I don't know who clipped it. I saw a clip of DSP playing Doom, and they zoomed in on his face, and his eyes blink at different times. Like a chameleon. Like his left eye blinks, his right eye blinks. Like not in sync. While he's just sitting there staring at the screen. And that is actually unironically, that is a very worrisome thing to see, because it can be an indication of like brain damage or strokes or like severely pinched nerves or bad blood flow. Like it's not something to like ignore. If you ever see like a loved one or a lol cow blinking asynchronously, it's a sign of like brain problems. And in this clip, he's like playing Doom and his eyes are blinking at different speeds as he's doing it. And like he doesn't realize, he doesn't feel it. It's just like blinking. You don't even think about it. But it's like a big red flag. So like without a doubt, like all jokes aside, DSP, if somebody sends you this clip, go to the doctor. Go to the doctor. Because there's people who start with that and then they have like a stroke a few weeks later and then the right side of their face is numb forever. Like get help with that. Like all jokes aside, you got to do it. And if you don't, you know,
live with the consequences.
Just saying. Okay. If you don't get help, you'll have to live with the consequences. So just go to the doctor. How did you find out about DSP? I mean, everybody's kind of been aware of DSP forever. It's kind of impossible not to know. But yeah, DSP is one of those. They call him the pig roach because he snorts. Because it's he has like postnasal drip, but then he doesn't care enough about his audience to mute the microphone when he snorts. So he snorts right into the microphone. And then he also just refuses to go away. So even after he's been canceled like 15 times, he still hangs around. So he's like a cockroach. Like he never goes away. He never dies. And so people call him the pig roach, and it's kind of his career. It's just that he's always been there. Like, he's always been there. So yeah, now I need to check my blinks. Yeah, it's just like, all joking aside, the asynchronous blinking is a sign typically of brain damage, pinched nerves, and or poor like vascularity, which he stays inside for 6 days a week. He gets no physical exercise except for walking to his mailbox like every other day. Like he does not exercise. He does not move. So blood flow is a problem. Pinched nerves, he says he's got back problems. That's probably true too. And he also has like a problem where part of his face is numb and he can't move it quite right. So he's just like a walking red flag for these things. And like, for the love of God, go to the doctor, because if you can deal with it now, get on a medication, you'll be okay. But if you ever find yourself blinking at different speeds with each eye, it's not good. It's not good. Brain worm. Yeah, it's a sign of a brain worm. Jesus. Oh man. Yeah. Dude, I remember watching, like seeing videos of DSP back in like the heyday, back like 2009, 2010. Because if you were curious about a video game and you like looked up the video game on YouTube, it was all Dark Side Phil videos, because like he would do 50 to 60 videos a day, all like 10-minute parts of games, like just flooding it. And so like chances are, even if you don't realize who DSP is, the odds are fairly high that you will, like, you've seen him around. But now it's just at the point where it's like kind of sad. Like it seems like his health's going out and he is begging for money harder than ever. And it's getting sad. It's starting to get to the point where it's sad. Yeah, remember to get up and stretch and touch grass. Yeah. Go take up running. Run a block. Run around the block. I don't care. Just like move. Get to move. Or go on a long walk. Do that. Anyway, now that we've talked about that, we're going to have to live with the consequences, and we got to move on. I'm now fully aware of my blinking. Thank you. Yeah, you're welcome. And you're going to be looking at everybody else when they blink. It's very, very rare to see somebody blink asynchronously, where one eye goes and the other eye goes after that. It's very, very rare, but you'll see it with people who like have fried their brains with drugs or drink a ton or other things like that cause neurological damage. So just be aware of it. Somebody I know in my extended family had a pretty severe stroke. And right before it happened, like in the days before, they were doing the asynchronous blinking. Wouldn't happen, like it wasn't super obvious. It would just be like kind of sitting, just kind of chilling, just like this. But you would see the eyes go. And at the time it's like, Then the stroke happened. I was like, I wonder if that was connected. Google it, went down a whole rabbit hole and saw that, no, that's like one of the telltale signs of something bad that might happen. So just be aware of it. Okay. DSP used to work for Polygon, confirmed. Take says, I tried the lawyer thing, dude. Wasn't for me. I dropped out after 6 months. I'm 31, doing nothing right now, but I'll figure it out. Yeah. You'll figure it out. And if it wasn't for you, good for you for realizing it wasn't for you. You know, people don't realize, I think, that most of what a lawyer does all day is just read. Like, you're just reading documents constantly. Are they okay? Yeah, they ended up getting to the hospital in enough time, but it takes some strokes happen and it kind of passes and you're largely okay after you recover. But other times a stroke hits and it's like, you know, the thing people think about, which is half of your body or half your face is just numb and you can't move it anymore. And so it depends. There's a scale, you know, they can affect people differently, and depends on when you get to the doctor. It depends on all sorts of things, broader health and vascularity, things like that. But yeah, it's either way. If you can avoid it. Go to the doctor ahead of time, you know. Danny, thank you. Let's see. Wilfredo, what does gacha mean with gacha games? Gacha is just, it's primarily like a Japanese thing. Often, yeah, they're video games that incorporate randomized reward systems where players spend in-game currency, typically, to acquire virtual items, often characters or weapons with a chance of obtaining a rare, more powerful rewards. They come from vending machines, Japanese vending machines called gachapon. And these you've probably seen. These are like those vending machines that have like the little balls that have, or eggs with different things in them. And in Japan, they're really popular, and you just kind of do pulls for different little toys and you try to collect all of them. But this is where those things started, and so it's where, like, you know, loot boxes come from gachapon. That's the inspiration for it. Luke has little balls, confirmed. Confirmed. So yeah, that's what gacha means. Let's see, Brody, who do you got for game of the year? KCD2 or Expedition 33 for me? I think Expedition at this point is the front runner. And I loved KCD2. I think KCD2 is phenomenal, but that should just tell you how much I love Expedition 33. Like, it's fantastic. It's just so good. Real Serious, thank you for the membership as well. Super Sagittarius, better call Luke always. Bungie gonna get turned into a support studio if they don't turn it around. I think it might be too late to turn it around. I just don't think there's much you can do. Bungie gonna get, oh, I just read that one. Take says, dude, they have below 500 people watching the stream. You had almost 1,500 earlier. Yeah, just on YouTube. I don't know how many they have on Twitch, but yeah, it's not great. Not good. Not good. Let's see. Surprised you're not covering the Marathon Art situation. Oh, Judson, we've talked about it for like the majority of this stream. Like, it's been most of what we talked about. I think it was the very first thing we talked about, the first segment that we did. So yeah, we talked about it a lot. From fair games to fair sense. Also F Nintendo. Always F Nintendo. It's one thing we can all agree on, hopefully. We can all come together, hold hands like the Who's, and just agree. F Nintendo. Okay, I read those. Okay, I think we're caught up there. Trev, also, thank you for subbing with Prime over on Twitch. It just popped up, but now it says 54 minutes ago. I don't know why it did that. I'm sorry, Trev. The notification was super delayed for me. That's weird. Okay. Okay. We got through that. We talked about that. Okay. Should we touch on this real quick? New segment. Longer. I have never in my life had somebody say longer to me. That's weird. I've never heard that term. Normally people are like shorter, but I've never heard that before. Okay. Elden Ring Night Rain. I keep forgetting about this. Frankly, I just do. I don't know what's wrong with me, but this is coming out May 30th. And I keep spacing it. But it's coming soon, like 2 weeks from now. And there seems to be a pretty dedicated group of people that are excited for it. Even the IGN video that was posted 2 days ago is still getting like 190,000 views. Pretty solid. There is interest. There are people checking it out. This particular thing I want to watch is how Limveld will change from run to run. It'll give us a little breakdown of how they anticipate doing this. But like, quick recap for me, just so you know where I'm at. I played the alpha thing that they did, or the beta. I don't remember which they said it was, but I played the playtest when they did it recently. And just transparently for me, I didn't like it. I just didn't. Everything I love about Elden Ring has been taken out. And all this stuff I didn't really love about Elden Ring has been doubled down on. And then other things like copy and pasted enemies and bosses, I'm just not super stoked about that. Like what I love about FromSoft games typically is the sense of exploration. Not really a thing here because that's not what kind of game it is. The build crafting, not really a thing here because it's a roguelite and they have predetermined set paths for progression for each character. So that's just not a thing. I love discovering new bosses and new challenges. With this, there's a set number of bosses and it's not that many. And it's based around these runs that you're going on to try and defeat them with your party. And so you're going to be dealing with the same enemies over and over and over again. To me, that's like every time I try to look for something that this game is doing that's unique or fun or cool, I just fail to find it. And instead I find other things that they've stripped out of the experience that I liked elsewhere. So that means it's just not a game for me, which is okay. Not every game has to be for you. This is just not for me. Okay. But I do keep hoping to see something that gets me excited about it some more. And that's where this video comes in because they're going to describe how Limveld will change from run to run. And maybe this is going to be exciting enough that maybe it introduces that thing I like, which is the sense of exploration. Maybe there's going to be something here that's added that can make it more exciting. Let's see.
One of the biggest questions left over after Elden Ring Night Reign's network test back in February was, how will the world of Limveld change in the real game? After all, Night Reign is, for all intents and purposes, a roguelite, and one of the core elements of any roguelite is a degree of randomness or procedural generation that ensures that every run feels just a little bit different. Night Reign has that in the loot department, with every run giving you different rewards and forcing you to cobble together a build based on what you're able to find within that run, and also in the enemy and boss department, since none of the boss encounters are static, with the sole exception of the Night Lord battle on day 3. But as far as the world of Limveld, we never really got a chance to see how it changes from run to run during the network test. During my 2 days of playtime at FromSoft's office and over the course of about 10 full runs, I got my answer to that earlier question. Here's how Limveld will change from run to run in Elden Ring Night Reign.
Bring it on, because I think there is an opportunity. How viscous is the flow? Yeah, dude. Now every IGN video feels hollow. It feels lacking in viscosity, frankly, after watching that Death Stranding IGN video. Which, if you're watching this stream clip and you're like, what the hell is he talking about? Go watch the recent clip we did on the Death Stranding like 2 preview from IGN. It's unbelievable. It's crazy. But anyway, I do think that there is an opportunity with the dynamically changing world for them to do something interesting with Night Reign. I'm excited to see what this is because at the play test that they did, my understanding, and maybe I'm wrong about this, but my understanding is that we had a static map. Nothing changed on it. If it did change, I didn't really notice. But let's see how they actually do it in the final version.
Actually, we jumped the gun. Before we go into the ways that Limveld will change, let's quickly establish what doesn't change. The overall structure of Limveld will not change. The shape of the island, the major geographical features, the positioning of cliffs, rivers, and lakes, all of these will be the same, barring a few major exceptions that we'll cover in just a bit. The locations of Sites of Grace, Everjails, the launching Spirit Springs, cave entrances and exits, the spectral trees and the wind currents, all of these are static and do not change location from run to run. There's also a giant castle that features exceptionally tough battles and big rewards right smack in the middle of the map that will never change. Everything else, from the locations of all the rest of the points of interest, the types of rewards offered at those points of interest, to the wandering mini-bosses and the bosses that you fight at the end of day 1 and day 2, are left completely up to chance. That said, there are 2 other huge factors that can completely alter a run. The first are world events known as Shifting Earth.
What the hell is going on with this saturation, my friends? I know. I saw Fiery Phoenix in Twitch chat. Have I missed the usual complaint about IGN video game capture and compression? Here it is, my friend. This might just honestly be the game itself, but I mean, this is one ugly frame. I'll tell you what, this is an ugly frame.
Occasionally, before you even launch into a level,
can we also just take a moment to appreciate Equilibrious Beast? I almost said breast. Slippery Express.
You'll be
What a name for a boss.
made aware that there is a shifting Earth modifier in effect.
Okay.
In our playtime, the one we encountered was Crater, which transformed the northern section of the map, placing a giant crater in the middle and rivers of lava all around it. The enemies around and inside the crater are no joke, and wiped the floor with us when we first attempted to even get close enough to investigate the crater on the first day. But investigate it you should, and you should do so as soon as the second day begins, if you're up to the challenge. Exploring the crater took us pretty much the entirety of the second day, but when we did eventually make it all the way to the bottom, we beat a boss that granted us an epic rarity level reward by itself, but then also the unique reward of being able to take any weapon in our arsenal and upgrade it to the maximum level for free.
I like that stuff. That's fun. That's cool. Gives you a reason to go down there. I think with all this, it just... Maybe I should ask it this way. How do you guys remember how much this game costs? 40. Costs 40. How many hours do you need? And I want to hear from everybody in chat. How many hours do you need out of a game that you paid $40 for? A live service game like this where you're playing the same map but with some modifiers and stuff, multiplayer game with your friends. How many hours do you need out of it to feel like it's worth 40? Because for me, like it's in my brain, and maybe this is part of the problem. In my brain, I cannot separate the fact that I have to get 2 other friends to buy it. So for me, I'm like, it's not just 40, it's like $120 that we're spending to buy into this to enjoy it and play it together. So I expect a good bit more. See 25s, I see 30s, 20, 15 to 20, at least 30, 50 for a game like this, over 100, 20 hours, I reckon. It seems like the average is right around 20 to 40. With some people saying they expect like 150. Trevi Trev, 20, Dragon Killer, 15, Lantern Smite, 150. Greatly depends on the type of game, but for 40, I expect more than 12. Even for a live service game, you'd be willing to spend 40 on a live service game that you only get 12 hours out of? Okay. I mean, I think at the very least, it seems like the average is around 20. And this game splits it into 45-minute runs. And so, you know, I would expect that you're getting at least a few dozen runs out of the game to be happy with your investment. And I wonder after like 30, 40, 50 runs, how much variability there will be. And maybe there is enough to get to like 40, 50 hours. Maybe there is. But that also assumes you're doing 40, 50 runs getting all the way to the final boss, which is not something you should necessarily assume. Because when I played it, there were a few runs where we were dead within the first like 5-10 minutes because of, you know, one boss, or we didn't get the drops we needed or whatever else. But it's, again, it's very niche as a game, as a concept. And so the people that like it, I think, are going to love it. The Elden Ring fans that like roguelite stuff, this is like a dream game for them. But I think for the average FromSoft player, this probably doesn't scratch that same itch. Yeah, 40 hours is 2 to 3 weeks for me. Not too bad for $40. Yeah. I think, like, for me, I would hope to get like 20 hours, 25, 30 hours out of it, and then I'd be happy. But less than that, I start to really question whether or not it's worth $40, you know? But stuff like this is exciting.
Because in order to escape the crater, you need to use a bunch of spectral trees and ride the hawks from platform to platform as you try to escape, which will certainly lead to nail-biting escape sequences when you take too long in the crater and now must race against the clock to get out while the circle closes in around you. The other big way that runs can change are through the appearances of certain events that seem to occur completely randomly and can throw a huge wrench into an otherwise routine run. I've seen only a couple of these, and some might be familiar with the Margit invasion from the network test, in which Margit the Fell will just all of a sudden jump into your game and just mercilessly hunt your squad down wherever they are. But a new one that I encountered involved the appearance of a swirling tornado-like phenomenon in the sky. When our squad approached it, we were suddenly attacked by a very tough group of AI-controlled Nightfarers who seemingly invaded us from another world. Like typical NPC invasions in Elden Ring, these enemies were smarter and hit a lot harder than typical enemies, making it another big risk-reward consideration to explore the areas near one of these ominous swirling tornadoes in the sky. The most impactful of all these random events, though, was the appearance of a mysterious boss that would attack from miles away with mortar shots of level-sapping bugs. That's right, get hit even just once by these telegraphed mortar strikes, and you lose a level. It's not even limited to just losing one. Get hit again, he'll take another level from you. The only way to get those levels back is to find and kill the boss by following the bugs to his hiding spot. Unfortunately, I don't have footage of this, nor do I know what the reward is for killing him, because by the time we found the boss by following the bugs, the circle had started encroaching, and we just wouldn't have been able to kill him before the circle killed us.
And this is one of those, like, some people love this. To me, that would be infuriating. Like, to me, if I was on a good run and then I'd get invaded like with a 1 in 10 chance or a 1 in 100 chance type of drop, and then they just take my levels, and so now I'm so underleveled I can't compete. Like, I might destroy a controller, and I don't even do that. I think I would explode. Yeah, I think I'm with you, Sagittarius. Some people love it. Some people absolutely love it, but yeah, it's funny because watching these types of games and looking at these types of games is always really interesting, because it's like something that to me sounds so miserable. Other people are like, oh, that's awesome. And I just find that interesting, because I'm sure there's games that I like where I'm like, I love that. And they're like, that sucks ass. It's just different tastes, you know?
Not gonna lie, it was pretty soul crushing to have to just give up on those levels that he stole from us, and it really kind of doomed our run from day one. There are certainly more of these that I still haven't encountered, like the Forest of Corruption, the Madness Towers, and more that we
Madness
see in the
Towers
overview trailer
suck.
released by From Software. It's worth mentioning as well that if you don't like the Shifting Earth modifier that will affect the world, you can use the bed in the Round Table Hold to sleep to either remove the modifier or have it replaced by something else. As devastating as some of these...
Oh. I wonder if there's a limit. Like, you can only do that once to reset it, or if you can just do it perpetually. Because it seems weird to just be able to, like, re-roll it indefinitely. So it's got to be, like, a limit of once you can re-roll it or something. Maybe it's per day. It's like 3 re-rolls per day or something. I don't know.
Modifiers can be, I'm nonetheless eagerly anticipate seeing more of them. They inject a healthy level of chaos into what otherwise might start to feel very routine, and led to some great emergent moments with high emotion between me and my squad mates as we raced to escape the crater, or panicked at an unexpected ambush, or felt true despair as we realized the levels that were stolen from us were gone forever. Moments like these are the heart of any good roguelite, and hopefully Night Rain is able to keep them coming at a steady pace. For more...
Yeah, and they have a lot of other stuff, like the class breakdowns and stuff like that. I hope that they got it running better, though, too, because... Let's see, is this... Yeah, it looks a little bit better. It's in the playtest we did, which, again, is a playtest, so it's not going to be perfect. The initial performance was not very good at all. Like, the boss would start doing a lot of AoE or alpha effects and things like that, and it just caused the frame rate to tank like crazy. And so hopefully they polish that up. But I keep forgetting that the game is only like 2 weeks away. It feels like no one's talking about it except for the people that are like pretty deep into it. But you know, maybe that's all this needs, is it just needs the really diehard committed group of 100,000 players or 200,000 players, whatever it is, 1 million players. I don't know what it'll get, but maybe it just needs that really committed group, and that's all they're hoping for and expecting. I expected this to have much broader appeal, hearing that it was an Elden Ring thing after how successful Elden Ring was, but I think that there's going to be a lot of Elden Ring players who might try this and just be like, oh, it feels very, very different from Elden Ring. But there's going to be a lot more of these. Like as the industry moves forward, this is going to be a much more common thing. I think we're going to see the rise of spin-off games, of smaller AA projects and stuff, because doing another big AAA or quadruple A scale game is just so risky and expensive that it's easier to just take a brand everybody knows and do a little spin-off game. I think you'll see it with Assassin's Creed. You're going to see it with, like, I think they've tried to do with Uncharted, for example. There were rumors of the Uncharted spin-off game. They were going to work on the God of War live service game was one that they were working on at, was that Blue Point, I think, was doing that one. And so, like, they're going to keep trying to do this. This is going to be part of the new trend, is just smaller spin-off games from established IPs. So I guess we just got to get used to it. But at the very least, you got to understand
Ronald
when it's not
McDonald donated $19.99
Ronald's
through
here?
Super Chat.
Thank you for the 20.
Love
Very
your
generous.
vids. Fist time I've been able to catch you live. Keep her up the good work, pimp.
I will. Shout out Wendy's Chili. Yeah, I appreciate you. That very, very generous $20, and I appreciate you being here. Glad to have you. Yeah. Yeah, it's sometimes the game's not for you, and I think that this is just one of those games where I'll try it at launch. We'll give it a shot. We can stream it and check it out that way. And maybe there is just gonna be something where it clicks. Because you remember, I didn't like Ghost of Tsushima at launch either. Like my brain just didn't connect with it. And then once they did the 60 FPS update on PS5, I tried it again and fell in love with it. I was like, oh, this is fantastic. For whatever reason, at 30 frames, it wasn't for me. At 60, the combat clicked and I just ate it up. So maybe this is one of those games where the final version just clicks with me, but the playtest didn't. I don't know. I'll give it a shot. I would love to have another game to tackle. I'm getting kind of burned out on Marvel Rivals and stuff. Love something new, but we'll keep an eye on it. It's only 2 weeks away. Should try to do Discord member runs. I think that's what we're going to do. We'll do it on stream. And if you're a member of the Discord, you can hop in a waiting room and then we'll just put people into the chat randomly and then we'll party up. I would rather pay $80 for Mafia 4 than $10 for Night Rain, despite loving FromSoft. I just don't want to support the slop. I mean, it does feel kind of like, I don't know if I'd go so far as like slop. I just think I mean, without a doubt, I think it's a cash grab on the back of Elden Ring. Like there's a reason this is called Elden Ring Night Rain and not Night Rain. Like they're trying to capitalize on that brand awareness and familiarity. And it might work out very, very well for them. But I think for me, as somebody that primarily is interested in the Elden Ring part of that, as opposed to the Night Rain part, that's why it's just, for me, it's kind of frustrating and disappointing because it's just not at all what I was hoping for. GameWire News, did you see the last Sentinel game diary or the new last Sentinel game diary? I did not. I can pull that up in another tab and maybe we look at that on stream. Because, yeah, it looks like they just dropped that 2 days ago. So, yeah, I pulled it up in another tab. Maybe we check that out on Monday. Not having a duo option is an odd choice. I agree. It is a little odd. It's kind of like Marathon not having solos. It's just like, what are we doing? Why? You know? Twitch is only at 720p max. I don't know if that's just me. Yes, I also only have 720p. Really? Interesting. Thanks for telling me. I will dig into it because it definitely should not only be at 720. But yeah, I'm checking at it too. And yeah, we're only there. Yeah, partners, it's supposed to transcode all the way up to the full resolution, which is, we're streaming at 1080p, so I don't know why it would be doing that. Odd. We'll have to investigate that. Thanks for telling me. Yeah, From Software built up enough good faith that if they want to cash grab here and there, they've earned it. Yeah, I mean, that's what they're doing. Hopefully it's still good. The problem is when you try to like cash grab on your good faith or your goodwill and the game sucks, like that's when you get into trouble. But if it's good, that's fantastic. Yeah. Hi there, just joined. What are you excited for in 2026? I mean, at this point, obviously, GTA 6 I'm excited for, but there's also a pretty decent chance that we should be like, I think we should, in theory, be seeing maybe a Naughty Dog game. I think Santa Monica might have something ready, maybe. I'm excited for those big things, but I do think that there's going to be some big surprises next year. I've heard some rumblings of some of the stuff that might hit next year, and I think a lot of it could be really good. The other one, Fable. I'm very intrigued by Fable. Fable, I think, could be really, really amazingly good, or it could be so bitterly disappointing, but we don't know. But I think that Fable is one to keep an eye on for sure. It'll be funny either way. And of course, fair game $. Witcher 4, I don't think Witcher 4 comes out 2026. I think that's 27 or 28. Probably 27, though. Yeah. What's Insomniac up to after that, them leaks? I mean, Wolverine probably next year. I think that's a safe bet. Probably late next year. It might slip into 27, but probably. Yeah. Fair game, no $. Sad face, indeed. Indeed. Oh man. Oh man, I forgot about Wolverine. Yeah, it's technically like they've had the announcement trailer, but that's it. But there's been a lot of leaks with it. So when they do the full reveal, I think they're going to do a big gameplay deep dive, which is a good idea. But okay, fam. Okay. I think we'll call it there. My voice is starting to go out, so I will call it there. We'll be back on Monday, back to normal, regular streaming time and schedule. It's going to be a good time. I'll be here rocking and rolling with you. Thank you all for being with me today. You guys are fantastic, and I love you all. Very, very crazy day today, but I mean, I appreciate you guys, and hopefully next week we get some good gaming news, some good stuff. So we'll see. We'll cross that bridge when we come to it. Until next time, my friends, much, much love. Appreciate the gosh darn heck out of every single one of you. And I'll see you in the next one, okay? Hugs and kisses, my friends. I'll see you very, very soon. Have a fantastic weekend. Go touch grass. Much love.